about later on in the show, whether it is Eastern Conference Finals game number 2, or maybe it's going to be the 108th running of the 500. We've got a team owner, we have a driver coming up, or maybe it's even OTAs from yesterday too, where Michael Pittman Jr. got a little bit dinged up. Some people holding their breath, evidently, out at Colts camp. And by the way, not too far. I mean, hell, Anthony Richardson could probably wing a football from here to the Colts complex, to where we are right now on Eagle Creek. But this is the day, and I know all of you are going to come out tomorrow, and we're going to celebrate that. I mean, hell, half of it would be drunk by the time I come on at 3. But this is the day to come out and enjoy a live show, because this is what it's all about. We are at Rick's Boatyard with Deep Eddy Vodka. It is the first, and we got a nice little summer breeze. Well, Seals and Crofts going on out here right now, and it is glorious. Our Deep Eddy Vodka Deck Tour number 1 starts at Rick's Boatyard. And here's what's great. So I get here, and I'm sitting out in the truck, right? And I hear this loud noise, and I go, what in the hell? Because, you get the executive airport that's right next door, and I'm thinking, what in the hell is that? That sounds like more than just a Cessna taking off, or, Jim Irsay's private jet taking off. And they were doing the practice flyover for Sunday here a little bit earlier. It was awesome. I can't get enough of flyovers. So I'm just getting out and getting ready. The flyover happens. Apparently there were some Black Hawk helicopters getting ready for Sunday as well out here a little bit earlier. But this is the spot. This is the show. So I don't care where you are in Indy, even if you have to sidestep some orange barrels and some road work, man, join us here and partake in some of the great taste of Deep Eddy Vodka on the first of our deck tour stops. Rick's Boatyard on Eagle Creek is our location. And I just told Tristan, who we'll talk to a little bit later on, just go ahead and start pan-searing the scallops and keep them coming, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Pan-sear those scallops and keep them coming. We got a busy show for you too. The importance of tonight is profound. I'll get into more of that and some things we might be thinking about, or maybe some things not so much we're thinking about going into game 2 later on tonight. Bobby Marks is going to join us from ESPN. He's one of, I think, less than a handful that picked the Pacers to win the series. Bobby Marks of ESPN. He'll also be able to break down, as good as you're going to find, Tyrese Halliburton being third-team All-NBA, getting that escalator in his contract, making more money, and how that will have an effect on the Pacers. Uh-oh, what's that right there? Oh, that's just somebody taking off from the executive airport right there. That's like the private jet. But no, this is awesome out here. We got a guest list for you, so be ready for that. Also stuff to give away. But joining us now, Brent Halverson, our betting analyst. Deep Eddy Vodka brings us to you, by the way, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. You can actually see Brent. You can see Eagle Creek and everything behind us and why you should be out here. How you doing, brother?
Outstanding, my friend. How about the inaugural kickoff event for the Deep Eddy Deck Series?
Perfect.
2024.
Yes.
This is a brainchild of the Romanek gentlemen over here.
I love the Romaneks.
Fine-looking gentlemen.
They are.
Centered with the beautiful
Sarah
right there. So, no, this is great. This kind of starts off, and we're going to do about 6 of these kind of throughout the summer, and not a better place than right here at Rick's Boatyard. I mean, probably the best deck out there right there. Lots of great cocktails, and the food, John.
Yep.
You mentioned the food is outstanding.
And we also should say, if it's been a little bit since you've been in here, they have done on the interior a tremendous transformation. I know all of you have been here, but if it's been a minute or so, you will pop in and you'll go, oh, wow, man, this is a lot different. And it is spectacular. But it's a glorious day. We know that. It's an important day, considering tomorrow is Carb Day, considering the weekend that is upon us. And you got game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals later on tonight. Brent Halverson is here, our betting analyst, as I mentioned. You look back to game number 1, and I know that you look at these odds and these numbers, but did that go anywhere near the way you thought it was going to go, even with the way the Pacers handed that thing to Boston at the end?
You know, John, it actually did go that way. I mean, I bet on the Pacers first half, Pacers team total first half, team total game, over game, Pacers plus 10. I mean, it all hit. I did great. other than the way that game ended. You know, I mean, it just should not have been there. But
we had it all but the win, and that's what you need. You almost wish, all right, you could have knocked around and played like junk, but if you get the win, right?
Get the win, absolutely. There's a couple calls there, and, Carlisle called out on himself. He could have played a little differently.
And he should have, because he was part of the issue, no doubt.
Absolutely, but you know what? Hey, they showed who they are. They came out and they're number 1, number 2 scoring teams in the NBA, and they looked like it. I mean, it was a scoring fest. I was really blown away when I saw that total at 220, and I was thinking, wow, tonight they're going to really bump that up.
Yeah.
It only went up to 225, I think. But the way that these teams go, the fast pace that they play, the defense, Boston's got a much better defense, I think. But again,
and they didn't show it the other night.
They didn't show it the other night. That's what I was going to say. They really didn't show it. It was just run and gun. It was run and gun. I think it slows down a notch tonight, but Pacers really needed to get that W, and hopefully they can do it tonight. Hey, the last 2 game 2s in Boston have both been won by the visitors, so hopefully this is a little trend and happens tonight.
And the difference, I think, there is they had big-time wins in those game 1s, and they almost came back at home, and I think kind of took both the Heat and the Cavaliers a little bit lightly, and that's the one thing you think about tonight. There's no way they're going to take the Pacers lightly. But before you go, oh, no, you can't have that. Defensively, the Celtics are pretty good. And the Celtics, simply put, with the style that they want to play, had really not a lot of answers. When you think about it, the Pacers had to beat themselves. Now, we talked about this yesterday, not to this degree, but it wasn't like that the Celtics, stepped up big. All right, they hit one slop shot from the corner that could have been taken care of with a foul and sent to the free throw line. Or, you look at it, if you just execute a little bit on an inbounds pass, you get to the free throw line, you go up 4, then the game is basically over with 10 seconds remaining or less. Look what had to happen for them to win. So as I tried to amplify to everybody yesterday, is this team to me is not going to go away. I know a lot of people are thinking, well, what's Boston going to come out and do? The thing that worries me the most is, and I don't mind if they go into the isolation stuff. I don't, because they can be a little bit sluggish, even though their bread and butter is going to Tatum and then getting one-on-one with Jaylen Brown. The thing I want to see happen, and the thing that most concerns me, the thing I want to see happen is the Pacers be able to have and dictate to the pace in which they want. Because even though the Celtics play fast, you could tell the other night they didn't want to play that fast. Tuesday night they didn't want to play that fast. The other thing I'm looking for is if they do slow down or try to slow down that tempo, they being Boston, how do you do it? Do you do it a little bit on the defensive end? Do you throw in a little bit more of that zone coverage that they were throwing out there on Tuesday night too? I just don't think that this Pacer team is going to go away because they are playing well. And again, they gave game 1 away. It's not even that the Celtics took it. It was just like, oh, yeah, thank you. They gave that away. Look how Boston had to survive that. And it wasn't because Boston was coming back, Brent, after a 6-day layoff. They still look good. I mean, people say stuff about Jason Tatum. Well, Jason Tatum struggling. He didn't look good. He put up 36 points and had 12 rebounds. If I sucked, I still want to put up 36 and 12. I want people to say, man, you really suck. And they have put up 36 and 12 numbers. No, and Brown did what he wanted. They got a huge lift from Holiday, which I don't think can happen later on tonight. So I think that's how you consider this thing going down later on tonight. Is the Pacers, I don't think are going to go away. I think that they're going to battle this. I know it was disappointing on Tuesday. It was for me as well. But I think Boston has realized that this is going to be more of a handful than what they ever thought. Than what they thought. And frankly, I know these guys are doing all these hardcore numbers in full detail and such, but basically it's like anybody else. I mean, hell, they don't know a great deal about the Pacers. It's like nationally nobody knows until now a great deal about the Pacers. Here's the other thing to watch out for, Brent. When you talk about the numbers and the total and the betting angle of it all, the Pacers are now in the midst. Their last 3 offensive performances have been absolutely fantastic. And, of course, sandwiched in was the incredible shot-making ability they had in Game 7 in New York. But they shot it well in Game 1 in Boston. You go back to Game 6 of the Knicks series. So they are on an offensive run. And people ask the question, all right, so how's this young team with little to no experience in the postseason, especially where they are, how do they respond, without having the weight of blowing that game or gagging that game away on their shoulders? And as I've explained to you before, and this is just simple yet true basketball knowledge, when you're shooting it well, when you're playing well on the offensive end, everything else is better. Everything else is better. Your defense is better. Taking care of the basketball is better. Maybe if you're sore, your ankle hurts, or you got a sore wrist or elbow, that's better. The cure-all to feel good playing basketball is and always will be shooting the basketball in a fashion in which the Pacers have done the last 3 games. So if you're looking for some positivity because of yesterday and we had to go negative, and you have to. That was the bottom line. They did blow that game. But if you're looking for the positivity, this team is playing spectacular basketball. They just did not close out a spectacular performance. And again, it was more about them losing that game than it was about the Celtics winning that game. So we'll see what the Celtics do to counter that coming up later on tonight. But you look at that overall number, and offensively speaking, the Pacers in the last 3 have been dynamic.
They really have. And again, we talked a minute ago, you have the number 1 and number 2 scoring offenses in the NBA, respectively. Pacers average 123.5 a game, and Boston's 120.5 a game. Pacers are second in pace. They do. They just run and gun, and again. So if you can kind of get that going, and again, like you said, they're not going to go away. That Boston defense is better than what they played in Game 1. I'm sure they're going to change some things up a little bit tonight, but I still think they got a great shot. And, if you look at Halliburton started slow in Game 1, really came on towards the end of the game, hitting 6 threes.
I think he's going to have a huge game tonight.
I do too. He's got to. He's got to. And
it's not even because of that. I think this team has been resilient and bouncing back. And I don't give a damn if we're talking about Boston or the Knicks depleted or the Bucks depleted. The Pacers have bounced back all year. And every time Halliburton has had a moment not so great, and he says, "Hey, I've learned from it," or "Hey, I'll get it back," he normally, Brent, gets that and then some. That's my expectation tonight. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, I see him lurking right there. He is the owner of ECR Racing. His name is on the brand, Ed Carpenter, who joins us now for the 108th running of the Indy 500 on Sunday. Hello, Ed. How are you?
Doing just fine. How are you?
Are you soaking up my Pacer breakdown right there? Do you like it?
Yeah, I was enjoying it. I agree. I didn't catch all of it. I wasn't in my car. But, yeah, expecting a good
Well, hell, how'd you not catch all of it? If you're in your car, that suggests you're not listening to me.
I said I'm not in my car.
Oh, well, okay. Well, where are you? They don't have electricity where you are?
I'm out at the track getting prepared. Yeah. I can't listen to you guys all day long, every day.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry. That's not good enough.
Not good enough. Me too.
Not good enough. How you feeling, my friend?
I don't know what all you talked about, but I think if they can play with the same effort and just not turn it over, they should be fine.
Yeah, it was effort and it was skill. Shot making at that level is a skill right there. They're feeling good about it.
Them out of the building the other night if they did cut half their turnovers out.
No question. So I had your driver on one of your drivers on yesterday, Renus VK. I asked him the last time you yelled at him.
What did he say?
He said his rookie season at Texas when he wrecked and you got all over his ass.
Yeah. Well, he did something that I had warned him about right before it happened. So, but he does a good job. We love Renus.
No, he does do a good job too. How about you? What number is this for you in 500s now starting?
This will be 21.
That's
assuming
incredible.
I'm still here on Sunday.
Well, no, you will be, unless I'm gonna come out there and get you up early. I got this service sticker now, so I'm gonna go bang on the hauler, the RV, while you're out there at about 3 in the morning.
Turn up my location sharing with you, I guess.
I'm gonna bang on every RV out there. I'll get you at some point. You know that. A little 3 a.m. after the JMV takeover. All right, I'll have a little inspiration out there. I'll find you.
So you're doing an all-nighter again?
Yeah, I'm going to try. I kind of wimped out last year and bailed at 2:30. I got out there at about 3:30 and took a 45-minute nap and then got up at 5 and went over and did the pre-race. I kind of wimped out a little bit last year. 2:30 is how far I got.
Yeah, you can do better. You can do better.
I know. I can't tell you to do better and say you can do better without, thinking and trying and doing myself.
You can. I mean, I tell myself to do better all the time.
I will tell you this. People are like creating odds on when I'm going to have a heart attack or a stroke, and the odds are pretty good this weekend. So if you ever thought about putting odds, if you're with Hagen or somebody like that,
tomorrow would probably be the day, right?
Well, I think I'll be okay tomorrow. I'll be well rested. I think in the middle of the weekend, because Blake graduates Roncalli on Saturday morning, I got to get up at 4 in the morning on Saturday morning, go get my mom in Southern Indiana, bring her back, go through Roncalli's graduation, and then take her back to Southern Indiana, and then come back up in time for the JMV takeover, and then until the middle. So, yeah, I think somewhere overnight Saturday, early morning Sunday, that's probably when it could happen if you're a betting man.
So you're planning to behave tomorrow is what you're telling me.
Well, there's going to be no good behavior. I'm going to go out there and party like crazy. I will probably dial it down.
That's why I said tomorrow would be when you're most vulnerable.
I will dial it down a little bit probably at the end, but nah, man, I can't let a carb day go by because I just go back to the COVID year when we didn't have any of this. That's why when I'm thinking about, people are telling me about the weather, I don't give a damn about the weather because we had gone through not having this, and hopefully the weather is okay. Hopefully the weekend goes on without a hitch because we know what it's like not having it.
Well, it's beautiful today, and I'm not even that worried about the forecast just yet because it can change. They're usually wrong anyway with them, so we'll just wake up and see what we have each day.
Let's rip on some weather guys. Who's the most wrong in this market of the weather folks? Who do you think?
Honestly,
the most inaccurate?
Make them all mad and say I don't really watch any of them. I just look at every app I have on my phone until.
Yeah. Well, I would say Sean Ash, but he'd get really mad. Sean kind of he owns forecasts that go awry anyway, so I got to give him credit from Channel 13 for doing that. Said Carpenter of VCR Racing, the owner and the driver, joining us. 21st Indianapolis 500 coming up on Sunday. How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your team?
I feel pretty. I didn't qualify as well as I have in the past, but at the same time, I feel really good about my car and the way it felt. So I feel pretty comfortable and relaxed heading into the weekend, and think I've got a great chance. And I feel the same way with our other two cars, with Renus and Christian.
You've had a couple of near misses as a driver in the past. Did you have any particular feelings going in that maybe today could be different that led to, ultimately a good day, but, not winning, but a good day? And, if you do have those types of feelings that are different, is going into this weekend kind of feel like one of those?
Yeah, I mean, I think feeling comfortable is important. There's so many things that can happen once the actual race starts that are out of our control. So, I mean, I've had years where I thought it was going to go well, and it did, and where I thought it was going to go well, and it didn't. And I've had years where I wasn't very confident, and it worked out okay. So you just have to go out and manage the day you got and, be smart over the course of 500 miles, and you're always going to have a chance.
So Ed Carpenter, he's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Of you and your drivers, who has the best car right now? Who do you feel?
I mean, I think we're all happy on Monday. Christian probably was the strongest from a speed standpoint. I think we were all happy with how our cars felt in traffic and everything else. But Christian was probably fastest Monday. We'll see what tomorrow brings.
Hey, before I let you go here too, Ed, what's the work detail tomorrow? Yeah, it's the last practice before Sunday. What are you going to be going over?
We've got a ton of tires because of all the rain we had earlier in the month, so we can run about as much as we want to. But really, we'll go out. We need to finalize kind of where we want to be with our gear selection. Is probably the biggest thing we need to finalize. Other than that, I don't expect us to be making many changes to the car. Just going out and confirming we're happy with where we're at.
Yeah, the other thing you should notice about Ed Carpenter is he is the driver analyst with Chris Hagen on Fox 59. It was really good to not so much hang out together, but we were on the same show on Sunday. That's always a good time.
Yeah, when I was in there just before they went on with you on Zoom, so I hope he passed along my wish of telling you hello.
Yes.
I'm not sure if he did or not.
He did, absolutely. Both Hagen and Brett did. All right, final question. I know in the past I have picked you to win, and it hasn't turned out the way that we wanted. What about this year? What do you think?
Eventually you're going to be right if you keep picking me, I think. So might as well keep going with it.
We got to expedite that process too. Number 21, is there a 21 number that's significant for you that I could roll with to even more so justify my selection?
Renus drives car number 21, so it's one of our car numbers, I guess.
Yeah, I need something more than that.
Other than you'll have to do some more digging.
Hey, call your shot right here and just tell me you're going to win it, and then I'll go with you.
Well, I think I've got a great shot. I'm never one that's gonna call my shot. I don't think you're just more likely to look like an idiot if that's the case. But like I told you before,
you're already on this show. Yeah, so go ahead. Yeah, you're already on this show. So the whole idiot thing, you've already moved well past that. I think everybody would understand. So if you want to.
That's very true.
Ed Carpenter. That's going to be my pick at number 21 to win the 108th running of the 500. Hey, enjoy the Pacer game tonight. Don't get me arrested if I bang on the RV in the middle of the night on Saturday night, Sunday morning, okay? I don't want to get arrested.
I'll make sure I lock up.
All right, brother. Hey, stay in touch, man. The best of luck to you. Always great to talk with you.
Good.
So Ed Carpenter on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Thank you, Ed. Rick's Boatyard, we've got a deck tour. The initial stop is underway. You better get here. Brent Halverson's with me. Mike Chappell, OTAs with Michael Pittman Jr. having to leave the field yesterday. Mike will explain on the other side. Bobby Marks of ESPN. We've got more Game 2 Eastern Conference Finals conversation coming at you as well. We got a ton going on today. Rick's Boatyard, Deep Eddy Vodka brings us to you. Don't go anywhere. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Come on, Indy. Don't use the spring to paint your house year after year. Do what Deanna
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. If you want to see where we are, you can check it out and get your ass here because we're at Rick's Boatyard. Deck Tour, stop number 1. Deep Eddy Vodka. I'm John. That's Brent. How you guys doing? Thank you for joining us. Ed Carpenter, the owner-driver of ECR. Podcast 1075thefan.com. Busy show. Game 2 Eastern Conference Final later on tonight. We got Mike Chappell in a second. Brent, regarding game number 2 later on tonight. Thoughts? Think this is the one the Pacers get? Is this the game they get their doors blown off? What do you think?
Well, I'm hoping so, and I think we're going to see another a dynamic game.
What's
right?
your head telling you compared to what your heart's telling you?
I'm taking the +9 tonight. I'll take the Pacers +9.
I can tell you what my lower extremities are telling me right now. They're saying, hey, big fella, why don't you send some hand-shucked oysters our way?
That's what your lower extremities are telling you, huh?
Let's get a startling metamorphosis down in here with those hand-shucked oysters.
You know what goes really good with oysters?
Myself.
You know what goes really good with oysters?
What?
Deep Eddy Vodka. It's going to give you all kinds of downtown action going on there. So watch out now.
So Brent Alverson, Deep Eddy Vodka, you got to make it out here. The first of our handful of Deck Tour stops. Good to see you. I love your outfit. Thank you. So on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. You are not too far from where we are right now yesterday. So what was the mood when Michael Pittman Jr. went down and didn't get up immediately?
You stop what you're doing, and first you check who it is, and then you see the 1-1, and Chris Ballard's over there, the traders come over, and then Shane Steichen comes over. And whenever anybody gets hurt in practice, it's a concern. But when it's one of your top, guys, there's a concern. I go back to when we were at training camp back in Terre Haute or Anderson or wherever, and a guy goes down on what I always did. I swear to goodness, what I always did. When you couldn't see the number, you start checking numbers you could see. Okay, there's 18, there's 32, there's 87, there's 88, there's 98, 93. Because, you don't want it to be a top-tier player. You hate to see anybody get hurt, and fortunately he got up. He limped a little bit, and then he went inside, and, Shane Steichen said he bumped knees. He should be okay. I reached out to someone. They said, he bumped knees, and all's good. So they may have avoided one there because guys get hurt. I mean, we've just seen they've lost guys. They lost Daniel Scott last year with a knee, I think, in about this time, and you lose guys in training camp, non-contact stuff because it's a dangerous sport when they're playing, but it's a difficult sport when you're practicing just because of the torque and everything you put on your joints, and then this is non-contact. But when you're doing passing stuff, you're gonna bump into guys and get in crowds. And there was a play where a certain linebacker who's very aggressive tackled or hit a tight end who's very aggressive, and that stuff happens. Not very much. So all signs are good for Pittman, which is extremely good because you like the way this team is set at the skill positions, and you can't lose one of your top players, at any point, certainly not in OTAs.
So Mike Chappell out at OTAs, at least from what he can see. I think it's only a handful of days where the local media or any media in general is allowed to watch. And you did see Anthony Richardson back out there. Obviously, he's been cleared for everything. Hell, I don't know what you can take away from it, but if you did have something taken away, what was it?
Proof of life, so
that's all we're asking for at this point, huh? Yeah.
Well, and that's all you can get. I mean, we got all the updates. His camp put out videos back whenever he started throwing, was in February, whatever it was, and then a few more, and then the team puts out stuff. But until you see it, until you see him out there winging it, and he was throwing pretty good. From what we were told, there are no limitations on what he's doing. If the starting quarterback's supposed to take this number of plays in 7-on-7, 11-on-11, then he's doing it, and then Flacco takes some. So that's encouraging. But there doesn't appear to be any lack of zip. We're still, again, this is a time when you're not seeing full bore, full speed, and all that stuff. But and it was really good to talk to him, to get updates, and it was kind of curious because I think Joel Erickson said, well, when did you know? Was there a moment you knew you were back? He said, well, you still get up in the morning and occasionally your shoulders are achy. But then most of the time it's not. So he said that tells him he's back. And, again, I was going to say so much of what happens to this team, but everything that happens with this team starts with Richardson. It just does. You put every piece in place around him that you can, including the backup quarterback. But this team will go as far as number 5 takes him. It's just a fact. I think they got very fortunate last year with Minshew coming in and really exceeding, I think it's safe to say, exceeding everyone's expectations of how he played, good and bad, but got him to within 2 or 3 plays of the AFC Championship, or AFC South Championship. Let's not forget that. I've always said, without beating the dead horse, that he was the reason they were there, 4th and 1, and to some level he was the reason they couldn't get over the top because of his limitations. I still say make a better throw on 4th and 1, and I think Kevin Bowen or somebody was saying, well, make the catch. So it's however you want to spin it. But it's great to have pieces around the quarterback, including a backup quarterback. But they'll go as far as the second-year guy takes them this year.
Yeah, and me, different from you and Bowen and others, say have your most valued offensive presence in the game. That's what I'd say.
I don't disagree.
Yes. That's what I say.
What we'll never know, because they'll never tell us, is how bad was the ankle. How bad was the ankle? And if we find out that he was really, the ankle was really hurt, and they try to run 4th and 1 and he gets stuffed, they'll say, what the hell you guys did running an injured running back? But that was such a basic play. And, make a better throw. Catch a tough pass. But, my goodness, can you imagine the narrative, how different it would be on this team, maybe on Houston? Houston's still pretty good. But this team was 2-3 plays. I'm talking about after watching that Pacer game. This team was 2 or 3 plays away from winning a monster game, and it didn't happen.
All right, Mike, before I let you go, give me your thoughts on Game 2, because I know you're actively watching. You're participating in social media before the game, and it sucked. It super sucked on Tuesday night, the end result, but they were really good for most of the game except for the last 90 or so seconds. What do you think tonight? Yeah,
I would go the other way of your very expert guest about he would take the 9 points. I don't. I would hope so. I think Boston wears them down and pulls away in the 4th quarter. And I'm telling you, if they get off to a 12-0 start this night, I think Boston takes it and runs. I hope not. The thing is that they've got a steal game in Boston. They do. That's just the fact of it. And Boyd was right there to inbounds the ball and hit a free throw, and all of a sudden Boston's got the pucker factor weighing in. But I just don't have a lot of trust tonight. But that's me, and I hope I'm so wrong. I'll be watching, and I hope they just show everybody to see we do belong here. What is it Carlisle said? That we're the team that nobody wants here. Or the unexpected
uninvited guest. Yeah.
But those guys, sometimes those uninvited guests are hard to get rid of, which is a good thing in this case. So I hope they come out, and I want to see Boston really have to deal with pucker and people really saying what's wrong with Boston. I'd like to see that, but I just don't. I'm not expecting it tonight. I hope I'm wrong.
And thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Boston, actually, they were all prepared to do that to Boston at the end of Game 1 until the Pacers stepped in. That was more. The Pacers cost themselves that game. It wasn't like Boston took it. It was just given to them.
I thought Boston played pretty well.
They did, man. They did.
Two or three god awful turnovers by your guy. I mean, by the guy that's got to make plays. And I still thought Siakam got pushed on the inbounds play, but that's me.
He did. He got pushed. He got pushed. Yes, no doubt.
That's that marginal contact they're talking about now, that which allows them to not call fouls, I guess. But step up.
Well, they weren't calling them anyway. They weren't calling them on the Pacers anyway, or any other team in the NBA would have been in the penalty and would have gone to the free throw line without having to inbound the ball after getting that stop.
That's what somebody mentioned, and you forget that. if they're calling more in Boston, they don't have that foul to give on that play. So, hey, just play better. Keep shooting the ball well, and they're never going to play defense. They give up so many shots at the rim, but that's them. They're still fun as hell to watch.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 will allow me to have to go grab some oysters because he did not give me the sports arousal for game number 2, in which I was looking for right there.
I didn't know
We
that
shall
was
see.
my intent to give you any kind of stimulus, and I don't think I would do that anyway. I think you can do singular stimulus on yourself.
Game 2 flaccidity has set in thanks to Mike Chappell. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.
I'd say we're Debbie Downer, but I don't want to go that far.
Wah, wah, wah. Thanks, Mike. So, Rick's Boatyard on our Deep Eddy Vodka Deck Tour. Brent Holverson rejoins. Tristan's going to run the place. He's going to join us next. Bobby Marks, you don't want to miss that, of ESPN, one of the less than a handful of people nationally selected the Pacers to win the series against the Celtics. Bobby, top of the hour. Get here. Rick's Boatyard, Deep Eddy Vodka. Eagle Creek is our location today, and it is indeed glorious. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
The laundry room. For as long as I can remember, this was the only place to get a good Wi-Fi connection. Until we got Xfinity. Now we have Wi-Fi all over the house. So, you're probably wondering why I'm still hanging out in here, when I could be happily streaming in the attic, basement, or literally any other room. Well, the truth is, it's warm in here.
Lemonheads, my dad's boat. You won't go down 'cause my
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Rick's Boatyard. It's a deck tour number 1 with Deep Eddy Vodka. We're out on the glorious deck at Eagle Creek. Rick's Boatyard looking for you here. Bobby Marks of ESPN Top of the Hour. We'll talk about Game 2 with the Pacers and the Celtics tonight. Brent Halverson, Deep Eddy Vodka. Heaven Hill Distillery rejoins. How are you?
I'm outstanding. What a day to be outside here at Rick's Boatyard. I still think, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest outdoor venue spots you can be at on the deck. I mean, what you guys have done in the interior, too, is outstanding. We got Tristan here to talk to us a little bit about this today, John.
I just want keep the scallops coming, brother, okay? I'm probably the biggest scallop fan in Central Indiana, so keep them coming. They're great here.
I'll tell you, our scallops are great. We've had plenty of different entree setups with our scallops, but they never change. They're always those seared style scallops that we can even get them on a separate plate for you. So if
I
you're
love
a super
separate
big
plates,
scallop fan, we've got you.
pan-seared scallops.
Absolutely, and now we have an awesome ravioli that we put ricotta cheese and we stuff a bunch of scallops into them and spread them out through the top of the pasta as well. But we don't just have awesome scallops. We also have a really awesome cocktail menu. As you know, we're out on the deck today. Yeah. It's hot. You're going to be wanting to see. Are you drinking a Long Island right now?
I am drinking
little Deep Eddy sweet tea, vodka, and water, which is outstanding cocktail.
So a fun little drink we do have now using that Deep Eddy's. It was a slam dunk. So if you ever had a Corona Rita when you go out and have Mexican, it's kind of the same idea, except now you're looking at it's more of like that.
No, it's okay. I was just back of this.
Gotcha.
James, you just messed up our guest, James. Dang it.
Yep, nope. You slam that hoop tea right down in there, and it's a super fun drink. Everybody's enjoying it so far, and we got a ton of other good stuff on there as well.
That's awesome. Well, and so you've been here about 8 years, did I hear you tell me, right?
Yes, sir.
And this interior, and for those listening that are hopefully on their way out here.
Yes.
And by the way, too, John, I did hear that we have a special guest driving up here from South Florida. Paul Nicholas driving in from South Florida to come see us today. His boy right back here is waiting on him.
I love it.
He's out here. Paul, get up here. Just drive the speed limit. Get down here. We'll get you some Deep Eddy samples. But what you guys have done here in the last year, even with the interior, the outdoor deck expansion, a lot of stuff going down by the boaters too, right? So,
absolutely,
and plenty of good plans coming up here. But the staff out here, the management, the GM, everybody out here is awesome. I mean, we appreciate you guys having Deep Eddy be a big feature out here. And we're honored
to do it again.
We're honored to kick off the inaugural deck series. So we appreciate you having us out.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so excited to have you guys here as well. We want as many people on this patio as we can get. So bring everybody on down, and we can have a big party.
Bring it.
The sun's out, so we're out.
That's right.
Tristan, I tell you what, if you're going to be around here until 6 o'clock, hop back on before the end of the show, okay?
Yes, sir.
So we can remind everybody dinner time, too, especially if it's in the dining room, which is all new, okay?
Right. Absolutely.
It's Tristan right there. He's going to rejoin in a little bit. Brent Halverson is with me, our first deck tour stop at Rick's Boatyard on the west side on Eagle Creek, and one of the few that selected the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. ESPN and friend of the show, Bobby Marks, on the other side. Don't go anywhere on a glorious Thursday. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hi, Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden.
With JMV.
It's Jim Perry, now talk to him, damn it.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Yep. The lovely Sarah is leaving our deck party. We're on the deck on Eagle Creek at Rick's Boatyard. They are bringing me pan-seared scallops. And actually, I needed the lower extremities needed a little. They're bringing me a bunch of oysters, too, so I'm going crazy. Getting ready for Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals with the Pacers and the Celtics. Pacers down 0-1, best of 7. Carb Days tomorrow. I'm going to be out there, and the party's going to be on. At 3 o'clock, you know, that's when we take our normal picture with all you yahoos out there in Pagoda Plaza. Cannot wait to see you out there. That is coming up tomorrow, and we have a busy weekend. I will detail for you for the 108th running of the Indy 500. I'll tell you all about that coming up in a second. Brent Halverson is with us. Again, Deep Eddy Vodka brings us to you. It is the first of many this summer deck tour stops at Rick's Boatyard, not too far from the Colts complex, in fact, out here on Eagle Creek. But on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, you know him as one of less than a handful, very few, that selected the Pacers to win in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics. Our friend Bobby Marks of ESPN joins us now. Hello, Bobby. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Have you ever been to the Indy 500? Have you ever had any interest in attending the Indianapolis 500?
You know what? The closest that I've been to the Indy 500 was in 2004 when we played Detroit in the second round and thought we were going to be in Indianapolis for the conference finals and had a hard time getting hotel rooms. So that's probably the closest that I ever became as far as to the Indy 500. But, yeah.
It is. As you could tell, as I just described, it's a hell of a weekend around here. And, you know, it became really going back to the 90s when the whole Pacers and Knicks, Hicks versus the Knicks thing became a big deal. That, you know, inspired and sparked the Pacers and the Racers. And we have that around here basically for the first time in 10 years since 2014. And people really – really soaking that up. It feels good to be kind of back in this situation, you know, even if game number 1 at the tail end did not go the way the Pacer fans wanted it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, that's you know, you live another day, and I think as disappointing of an end of a game that I've seen in a long, long time. And I think it's, you know, I know it's only one game, but it's, you know how hard it is to win road games in the playoffs and certainly in a conference finals. I thought we saw a little bit of what we saw of that Boston team last year in that Miami series down the stretch of the game there as far as some ill-advised shots. I thought Jaylen Brown certainly bailed Jason Tatum out because I didn't think Tatum was very good at all, except, you know, you get to overtime here. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what we'll see where they are tonight. I mean, it's tough to come back from, but I'm just going back to my own experience. You know, in 2002, this is a long time ago. I mean, we were up 20 going into the fourth quarter and got down and lost the lead and wound up getting down 2-1 in the series and wound up coming back and win 3 straight games. So not impossible, but yeah, certainly what happened was disappointing. But as I say, you move on and now you focus on game 2.
It's Bobby Marks who joins us. So a lot has been written and said regarding a young team that just doesn't have a great deal of experience being where they are right now regarding the Pacers and how detrimental that can be, which I think we would all say is true. But on the other hand, not being down this particular path before, do you think it is easier or more difficult to put behind you and forget the dynamic of the end of the game the other night that cost them that game 1?
I think it's easier to a point. I think it will be interesting if we get certainly another close game and Indiana's up 3 or 4, a minute left, right? Like does things start to kind of creep into your mind as far as what happened a couple days ago here? But listen, there's not many people who picked this team to get to an NBA Finals. I think I was one of 2 out of 18 of us that had to submit picks here. So I do think. I don't want to say you play house money because getting to a conference finals is so hard. And you never know when you're going to be there again here. But I do think based on where they are with their age, and certainly Pascal is one of the older players on this roster, that you can play freely, you can move on. I think the Knicks series taught you can. I think when you lose like you did in Game 5 at New York, and you're basically facing an elimination game, you just come out with a different mentality. And I think it's going to be important for them to get out to a good start. I think it's hard when you're, when it's 12-0 and you're continually fighting to come back.
So Bobby Marks of ESPN, he joins us. You mentioned you're one of, and I picked the Pacers in 7, and my philosophy was, if I think, and I do, I think that this is going to go the limit. I'd always thought that, much like I thought it was going to happen, and I picked the Pacers in 7 over the Knicks. I think it's going to go the limit. I'm thinking, all right, if it's going to go 7, I don't know why I'm going to pick against the Pacers, because clearly they're going to be doing a lot of really good things leading to that point. But what inspired you to go with the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals against the heavily favored Celtics?
Yeah, I just thought that, Boston really hadn't been dealt with any adversity. I know losing Game 2 in both rounds, maybe you can say that, but I just, I thought they had a pretty easy path, certainly with Miami, both a Miami team in round 1 that was depleted, and then you lose Mitchell for the last couple of games in the Cleveland series here, and they went on the road and they won a Game 3 and a Game 4. Yes, great. But I just didn't feel like they had been dealt with some things that it could go sideways here. And I like Indiana, certainly the bench in Indiana. I think they're probably a little bit more balanced. Yes, Boston's got the firepower, and I think if Brown and Tatum are playing at an all-NBA type level, they are very, very hard to beat. What are we going to get Porzingis back? What does Porzingis look like? I think that just kind of a lot of that just kind of played into why I decided to pick Indiana for this series.
And one of the reasons why I did, and I thought that it was justified in Game 1, because a lot of people, Bobby, felt that the Celtics would come out and they were going to be a little bit sluggish because they'd been off for 6 games, and they weren't. I mean, offensively, we'll talk about Tatum in a second and where he may be struggling, but as an end result, he still put up 36 and 12. Jaylen Brown had a great night. And Holiday had a great 28-point offensive night as well. I thought being able to withstand that and really, truly having more than a legit opportunity to win, I mean, they gave it away. They gave away a game in game number 1. So I thought my pick and how I feel about this Pacer team responding tonight and the rest of this series, I thought it was justified on Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can go on. You can say, again, what you just said, which I totally agree with, or you can say, wait a minute, they lost Game 1, they had an opportunity, there goes the series, right? Like, you never really lose a series in one game, but, how does this group rebound? I think big picture, I think you're probably more encouraged. I think if you had got down, you get down 12-0 and basically it's a 30-point game, you're thinking, wait a minute, like this thing, I don't know if we're going to be able to steal. I think they've proved the point that they can go on the road and steal a game. And I think they've proved the point in the New York series that they can take care of home court. Certainly even the Milwaukee series too. The ability to close out on the road here. So I think I'm interested to see where they are. Certainly you don't want to go down 2-0. For Game 3 here, but I think they proved, at least to themselves. I mean, they don't need any more confidence that they can compete with this team, and that when you get to a close game like they did in the last 3 minutes. That now it's just about the ability to kind of close it out.
So Bobby Marks of ESPN, he's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. And here's another aspect. And knowing that this could change in a heartbeat, I just don't think is going to. There is such a cure-all in everything, from bad play, from a disappointing, if not an excruciating loss, to even injuries. And that is shot-making ability. And the past 3 games – the Pacers have been incredible, in Game 6 against the Knicks, Game 7 against the Knicks, Game 1 on Tuesday night against the Celtics. That's all, to me, especially this time of year, when you shoot at that level consistently, and maybe it all goes away, but that to me evens things out to where, maybe, again, I'm justified in thinking this team's not going to go away anytime soon.
No, I mean, I think you saw it. I mean, certainly I think they took advantage of Horford. In Game 1, I thought the mid-range was there for them, whether Siakam or Nembhard. I think, and that's probably why you're disappointed as far as what was drawn up, or maybe what kind of went sideways at the last play before overtime, where you really didn't get a good shot, maybe get something closer to the basket, because I thought that did kind of open up for you if you could. But no, I mean, that's the big thing. It's like toe-to-toe, right? Shot making. They kind of found their sweet spot in game one.
I want to look back to what you're talking about, and, most of the focus has been on what they gave up to Jaylen Brown in the corner and, the personnel they had when they turned the ball over trying to inbound it. But I'm with you on that. I kind of wondered, and I'm curious if you thought the same, their high ball actions with Miles Turner and Tyrese Halliburton have just worked so well all year, really, but certainly in the postseason. And I was a little bit shocked. I know they didn't have a great deal of time, but I thought that they had a little bit to try to run a little bit more than going kind of sideways to the hash mark in the fashion in which they did.
No, agreed. I mean, I think, Tyrese was able to catch the pass, I think, top of the key and still veer to his right with enough time to get up a shot here. So when you don't need a three, that shouldn't be your primary focus here. But listen, that, and I know that not fouling up three was a conversation. I just thought Pascal I think he probably thought Brown was going to take, when he caught it, he was going to go up with it, and he didn't want to foul, and then he kind of had the opportunity to foul him, and he couldn't. But give Holiday a lot of credit, man. He set a good screen that basically freed him up to get him, a step or two behind here, and man, he had an incredible shot. He hit an incredible shot, corner three, basically behind backboard there.
Bobby, it's funny, too, the way that they played that defensively, they being the Pacers, because they weren't switching, they were playing it straight up and getting over the screens. And this is a team that switches defensively on absolutely everything. I didn't think that they were playing to give up the foul there. I thought they were playing, and then after the game, they obviously said that they were trying to, and that was just a judgment by Siakam. But I don't think in that situation that you're playing to give up the foul in that amount of time if you're trying to work over screens and not just switching everything.
Yeah, I think trying to foul when you're up three on a sideline out of bounds is extremely hard. It's not like it's not like you just made a basket and they're bringing the ball up court, right? Then you have the ability to foul whether at half court or before they get in their set. It's a lot of things have to go right, and I think as I said, the last thing you want to do is foul a guy shooting that three.
So Bobby Marks of ESPN, think about this in a moment. We'll get to it in a second, but I do want to talk about Tyrese Halliburton, All-NBA, team number 3, and $41 million extra for him, and the effects in the now and then in the future for the Pacers and their payroll and what they want to do, and lob some things at you with that in mind. But Jason Tatum, I brought his name up, and so did you a little bit earlier. I wish I lived in a world where I could go 36-12 and people thought I had a really bad game, but that's exactly what people thought about him. Are we just kind of sitting around and waiting for a significant boom offensively, even more so than what we saw in game number 1?
I think it's more just maybe shot selection. I thought the three he took, I don't want to say it was 145 in the fourth, top of the key, a little bit rushed. And listen, he's going to be under the microscope until he gets to an NBA Finals and probably wins it. Because they'll just, the continual, what happened last year in the Miami series or what happened in the Golden State series, I guess the year before, will be continually brought up. And he was good. He was good. Was he great? No. He was terrific in overtime, certainly. But I think when you're under the microscope, things like that will probably be, will be picked apart.
Boston likes to play fast offensively. There's no doubt about that. But it was clear that they don't want to play as fast as the Pacers. And defensively, they went zone a couple of different times, too. And that, as a result, kind of slowed the pace down a little bit. Will they do more of that tonight? Will they try to slow the Pacers down? Because, again, they're good, but they're more of a result of isolation plays with their all-stars and their high-level elite players than anything else. Is that going to be a part of what you think, scheme-wise, they're going to do and approach game number 2 tonight?
I would be surprised if we see it right off the bat. I think, the tempo of the game will control. I think it's hard going zone against Indiana because all 5 guys, can make shots. It's not like you have a traditional center and you're not spacing the floor.
Yeah, that part stands out to me, and I know Boston likes to get up and down. I mean, hell, I think they were second to the Pacers in pace this season, but it certainly didn't seem like anything that they felt comfortable in going at that speed. You agree?
No, I mean, I totally agree on that.
So Bobby Marks on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. All right, Tyrese Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets an extra, $41 million, I believe, something like that for making all NBA. Yeah, and how's that affect the now and the future, salary cap wise, and the Pacers financially speaking?
Yeah, I mean they're still in really good shape. I mean, certainly with Tyrese's now number going up from 35 to 42, and if you factor in a likely Siakam, let's say max contract here, I think the big question will be, what's the cost of what Toppin will be as far as from a restricted free agent standpoint here. But when you have a roster that's built with, outside of the two main guys, they're most of it's all guys between $2 and $19 million, with Turner the next highest paid on the team. And you've got a lot of, guys on rookie contracts and low cost contracts here. You're in good position financially. We forget that Mathern's not even out there either. That's the other thing too, is and that helps. Like that will help for next year. And Andrew's still on a low cost contract. We haven't seen, Walker, their lottery pick, as far as, next year will be a big year for him, as far as maybe it does get too costly for Toppin, or maybe he is back and then you have to move. But so they're in a good window here before these rookie contracts. You have to actually pay them, NBA level money instead of on a controllable deal here. So, yeah, even with the $7 million increase here, I don't see them being in the luxury tax. I don't think they're near the apron. What we've talked about here. I think there's still the flexibility out there if they did want to go make another deal, that they're not tied, strictly to the roster.
It's funny, too. A friend of mine, Bob Kravitz, who's a longtime columnist around here, and a couple of others have told me that they believe that for the first time in a long time that the Pacers and Herb Simon would be willing to go into the luxury stage of this if necessary to bring in the right guys. Is that like change your thought process at all with what you just said, or you think that is a possibility of adding guys maybe we're not thinking about right now, if indeed this team is willing to go that far financially, which we haven't seen in a while?
Yeah, I do. I just think where we're going towards, especially in this collective bargaining agreement, I don't think the luxury tax is as punitive as it once was, especially starting next offseason, the offseason of 25, where the tax brackets get lowered as far as you're basically paying dollar for dollar if you're, $4 or $5 million over. It's not as punitive. You're still not getting a distribution back. I just think that the big scare will be the apron, right? As far as the first and second apron, which is basically, $10 million over the where the luxury tax is, and $17 million, for the second apron. If you get in that territory, then I think you have certainly concern and you have less flexibility. So I do think teams are probably going to be more willing to go into the luxury tax in the near future.
Bobby Marks is with us. A final thing, you mentioned Obi too. How much money is Obi making? Not just this season, but certainly this offseason. And is it one of these situations? I think that his best fit is here. Financially, do you think he can fit here, or is he going to go past that particular how much they want to pay him here threshold with how good and how productive he has been?
Yeah, I mean, he'll get a qualifying offer, so he'll become a restricted free agent. Indiana will have the right to match. It's just a matter of what the market will be. There's really only 6 teams that have significant room. I think at the minimum his number's probably 13, which is the non-tax mid-level exception. I think where he is with his role, certainly he's not going to be starting with certainly with Siakam here, but I do think he's got a 6-man role. So I do think it's probably in that $14-15 million that number. Will a team come in and offer him $20 million? I mean, it's hard for me to see that. It is an average free agent class, and teams do have to spend money. But I do think, as I said, 6-man on a really good team, I think you're probably looking at like $14-15 million.
It's Bobby Marks at Bobby Marks 42, the ESPN NBA front office insider. The pride, much like a former dunking Dutchman here of Marist College, when Rick Smits attended Marist. And because of that, he was in the great film of the 80s, Coming to America. Bobby Marks, however, wasn't, but he's still an incredible resource for us, man. Hey, enjoy game number 2 of this Eastern Conference Finals later on tonight, and we'll have a chat, I'm sure, when all these financials start breaking later on this summer.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Bobby Marks on the Andy Moore Automotive Group line. Always, there was a lot right there if you guys want to dig into that. If you missed any of it, the podcast is at 1075thefan.com. I mean, a lot right there with that. And he made it like everybody else talks about. It's going to be tough to bring back Obi. You're probably going to have him 1 year and then he's going to bail. But I'd make the argument that Obi's best spot is doing what he is doing right here, right now. And wouldn't you think if it is conceivable to bring him back financially that you would want to do that? Meantime, Rick's Boatyard, Deep Eddy Vodka, Brett Halverson rejoins us in just a second. But we got a friend, Query & Company, and Jake Query's at the Speedway Kroger right now with Mission Foods and a really, really fun time later on this afternoon and early evening. Hello, Jake.
John, how are you? And you are correct. Mission Foods, once again, stepping up. They, of course, sponsor Pata Award. They're on that McLaren car for them. They've got race car-shaped tortilla chips. Who doesn't love that? Right here at the Kroger in Speedway. Crawfordsville Road. Electrolit is here giving samples. They're also a subsidiary sponsor of Pata Award. But here's the big deal, John. From 5 until 6 o'clock, all of the IndyCar drivers for McLaren, Arrow McLaren, are going to be here. Pata Award, Theo Porcher, Alexander Rossi, and Callum Ilott. They will be signing autographs. They will be available from 5 until 6. Pata Awards show car is here. There's a McLaren 750 car here. And then most importantly, as I mentioned, you get the Mission Foods tortilla chips. Who does not love that? And we at the Fan will be here until 6 o'clock as well, giving away 2 pair of tickets to the 108th running of the Indy 500, John. So a lot to love happening out here on Crawfordsville Road at the Kroger's in Speedway.
Hey, man, can you grab me a couple of bags of Mission chips and bring them out to Carb Day tomorrow? Because I love Mission chips. Seriously.
I will do that, man.
Chip
And they're
guy.
shaped
Yeah.
like, John, they're shaped like race cars. I'll grab you. Wait, what, 2 bags, 3 bags?
Oh, yeah. I mean, 5, 6, 12. Yeah, Michelle's out here. Jeremiah Wheatley's out here. They all want it. So, yeah,
Look,
whatever you can carry in.
Blake just graduated from high school. So
yes,
his graduation gift will be, in addition to his gift, I will get him a bag of the race car-shaped tortilla chips from Mission Foods and a couple of tortillas for you.
And he'll thank you for that because he's a big nacho guy. He makes his own nachos, so he'll love that. So awesome, buddy.
Love it.
I appreciate it. We'll talk at you again a little bit later on.
All right, sounds good, John.
It's Jake Query with Mission Foods out there with T. McLaren over at the Speedway Kroger. I know it well. Brent, you about ready to rejoin here in a second?
Absolutely.
All right. So Michael Shake's going to join us of Meyer Shank Racing on the other side. Talk about that. Me and you get some bets down here, but again, explain to folks before the break what we're doing at Rick's Boatyard today.
The inaugural Deep Eddy Deck Series here at the beautiful Rick's Boatyard, out on this beautiful deck overlooking Eagle Creek Reservoir right here. The brand new remodeled inside too, so you got to come see that. That's just outstanding. But there's not a better place to be than outside right now. Beautiful, cool breeze and wonderful staff, amazing food, and outstanding Deep Eddy cocktails, John.
Oh, it is indeed. This is the first of how many are we doing so far? Are we going to do more?
We're going to do 6. We're going to do 6. So we've got them kind of coming pretty quickly. Just enjoy this.
Have you already ironed out all 6?
All 6 are ironed out.
Good,
we'll release one at a time.
I like that.
So before the end of the show, stick around. We'll be sure to announce where we're at next Friday for the Deck Series.
You came up with a hell of an idea to come back out, though. Maybe we do something here, but we get a pontoon.
We got to get out
there. Yeah,
let's get out on a boat. We'll look at the next time. We'll do something. They've got their brand new. It's kind of a boat setting area over here.
Right,
so you get off your boat, come in and get drinks, food. They have a food truck over there for the boats. We can be right there. And people can come up and join us out on Eagle.
We want to do some oysters in a minute.
Let's do some oysters.
I got to get my manliness up to a high level. I feel like my manliness is kind of slipping a little bit here. I need to man it up a little bit.
Well, we can get you that, John. And like I say, a couple Deep Eddy cocktails, you'll be man, oh man. But,
we got more to come again. I'd love to see you out here. This is our first of the handful, he said 6, I believe, of the deck tour stops we have. And we are live at Rick's Boatyard today. Deep Eddie, we got the free samples flowing. Love to see you out here. Join us when you get off of work. More on Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals for you tonight. If you missed Bobby Marks, double back and listen to all that, Pacer fans, on our podcast. It was absolutely fantastic. Mike Shank's going to join us coming up next. Brent Halverson rejoins. We've got, I think, Sidery is going to be here in the 5 o'clock hour with some NBA conversation, too. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more
JMV.
This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
In case you were unknowing, Rick's Boatyard's our location. Deep Eddy Vodka. It's the first of 6 deck tour stops. West Side, Eagle Creek, and what is a fantastic day. We would love to see you out here. Carb Day tomorrow. We'll be there. Pagoda Plaza at 3 o'clock, and you can imagine how that thing is going to go. Easter Conference Finals Game 2 with the Pacers and the Celtics. Pacers down a game in that best of 7. Bobby Marks of ESPN, outstanding, explaining a lot of things, including the impact of Tyrese Halliburton and more money by being all NBA, as what was called yesterday. Bobby Marks on a podcast at 1075thefan.com. But joining us now, he's got a trio of fast dudes, one of which we'll talk to in the 5 o'clock hour. I'll tell you who coming up in a minute. But Mike Shank of Meyer Shank Racing is on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group hotline. Man, it seems like a while, Mike, you've been on here. I apologize, man. I love talking to you, but I was thinking about it a moment ago, and it seems like it's been way too damn long.
Well, listen, I'm glad to be back on, and looking forward to a great weekend. Hopefully dodge some rain here on Sunday, but couldn't be more happy to be out here at the Speedway again, and a lot of excitement here, I'll tell you.
Mike, I'm curious, and I don't want to talk about anything negatively with the weather on Sunday, but I am curious, as a team with your trio of drivers, what is the approach if something like that occurs? What's the game plan, I guess I would ask?
Well, there's a couple ways to think of this. We got to think about the race and the Indy 500, and what are the options? What could they do if, let's say, they get the track dry? We have 6 Air Titans here now from NASCAR that we're going to use to help if there's a problem. If they get it dry and we get going and we get to lap 101, they could call the race. That's an official race. So how do you strategize for a 101-lap race or inevitable 135? We get a big storm. So it really tricks the dynamic up from a strategy standpoint. So we got to talk all that through and find out all the resource we can on meteorologists, to be honest with you, and have one on call.
Yeah. Do you guys have one on call right now?
I'm working on it as we speak, actually. So
you want any recommendations here locally? Do you need any?
Yeah,
or you're pretty much on target. I know a lot of these guys. I can tell you this. It is. I mean, it's especially for them. It's tough because you don't. It's weird being around here. And you know this as well, like where I am at Eagle Creek at Rick's Boatyard right now, it could be absolutely pissing and pouring. But, if you're over at IMS, and that's about 5-6 miles away, it may not be doing anything. So it's tough to judge as far as that's concerned around here.
We just try to be as prepared as we can, and have done, at least feel like we've done everything we can to fight the weather demons. But listen, let's just hope we don't come to that. We look forward to having everyone out to Carb Day tomorrow, and a huge crowd. I think 340,000 plus people. Doug Bolt says so. Man, I can't wait. Get back to full spirit of this place.
So Mike Shank of Meyer Shank Racing joins us. And one more thing regarding that, too. So have they given you kind of a game plan just in case of inclement weather on Sunday?
Yeah, we've got, listen, we want more than anything to get this race in on Sunday. And we can run, what can we run till, 9 o'clock or 9:30, I'd say? So
right.
I think that's the number one priority. And then if we can't do that, then we'll do on Monday. And I would say, there's some odds that we can get it in on Monday. So we look forward to that. Hopefully not, because you remember we have to be in Detroit by Thursday morning for the next race. So this gets real tricky for all of us,
Mike Shank, that's good information, and you're exactly right, because you kind of wonder. Then you start looking longer term about the effects of if it is continual wet weather around here. But, yeah, we're not going to worry about that. It's going to be dry, and everything's going to be good coming up on Sunday. That's going to be our thought. I want your thought on your trio of drivers. I talked to Elio earlier this week. Tom's going to join me in the 5 o'clock hour. Haven't heard from Felix. But how do you like the way that your cars, your drivers, your team is performing going into Sunday?
I really like it, to be quite honest with you. I think we're as prepared as we've ever been. I think we've taken a noticeable step up in performance just within our own team from last year. which I'm anxious to see how that works on race day, obviously. But we got 2 hours tomorrow to see where we are at race trim. We've made some gains. Felix right now, first year with us, he's 5th in points right now. He's finished in the top 10 every single race. He has had already 1 pole. We're really on a great momentum arc with him right now. Love having him on board. Tom's a rookie. He's just really getting rolling. He's having good days and bad days like you do at rookies sometimes, but he's got a runway to really do well also. So I like our performance. We got to have some luck too. Like when we won in 2021, we had just a perfect day. And honestly, we want to be a part of that 5th win with Elio Castroneves. I mean, if it's not this year, it's next year. Then this guy deserves to make kind of, in my mind, world history, and we want to be a part of that.
I know that he's got minority ownership, partnership, or whatever. We talked about that a couple of days ago too. In one of these days, if that is his choice to become, maybe a full-time owner, what type of owner do you think he's going to be? His knowledge is just absolutely fantastic. I could listen to him all day. But, just beyond the driver-owner partnership, how do you think he would do once he ends up moving on to what I think to be that anticipated next level?
He's going to be great. That's why this is exactly, why we did this. You get a sense, having been around him a bit, he engages everybody, right? So whether we're courting a potential partner or at a dinner with a current one or whatever it is, he is the man to sit at that table with. He's got stories for days. He makes you feel welcome and like you're part of his family. And it's hard to find that kind of quality of person just in general, right? And we need that when we're out selling and trying to find sponsors and partners to do things with here, And we value him highly. It changed my life personally and my family, my business when he won the 500 for us. So that can never be paid back, in my opinion.
What do you ever think about, and obviously this is hypothetical, but I'm curious, ever think about had he not won that race and things were different, where would you be right now with this?
I'd still be trying. I wouldn't have stopped trying, right? I'd just try harder. Listen, we lose in baseball terms. We bat like 200, right? In general, you lose more than you win. We're used to continually getting beat, but also continually pushing through that crap, right? And how do we get better? And we treat our team like athletes in stick and ball sports. We analyze things, we tape things, we break things down. We try to find performance in pit stops. Performance in the car. We treat it as a top-level professional sport in the U.S. And just because we don't win doesn't mean we stop. It means we double down. We go harder.
Hey, the reason why I brought that up, too, is I just want people to truly understand not just, the moment where everybody is great and you kiss the bricks and the milk is brought out, but the impact, the effect that a win like that has overall to not just that moment, Mike, but to the longer-term future for a race team.
It's the gift that never stops giving, truly the definition of that term, that saying. It always is with us. It's my Borg Warner is on display in the lobby of my team over in Columbus, Ohio. It is the world to me. It's everything I lived for as a kid growing up in east side of Columbus. Never thought I'd actually get there, I guess, truly. But when I did, I just relished that. And we had a humongous party. It was awesome.
I think I asked this before, and I apologize if I did and you answered it. But how are you as a driver? How do you look yourself in the mirror and go, hey, that's who I was as a driver?
Well, I'll tell you, it turns out that I was only slightly above average, even though I thought I was great, right? But the truth is, having the talent I've had in my team since those years ago have gone by, I had average talent. It turns out I don't think I had the mental capacity, really, not physical, but mental. There's a lot of chess match inside and moves ahead of moves and seeing the whole picture, even when it's not in front of you. Like, it's a lot of psychological stuff. And I just don't think I was wired for it. And I think it worked out like it's supposed to. I never had to get a real job for a living. I got to race cars still to this day.
Hey, man, you can probably tell I thoroughly enjoy having you on whenever you come on the show. You're a wealth of knowledge, and you have covered so many aspects of what you love and just been so hugely a part of everything. there's not a better resource out there than you for all of this too, man. I appreciate you coming on as always, and please feel free to jump on anytime because I know people love hearing about it. Not only just the driver's side of it, but just what else this whole thing entails to get to where you are and then to get to the next level, man. It's encouraging to hear from you from that standpoint, and hopefully we do it again very soon, Mike. I appreciate your time as always.
Anytime. Good luck, and we'll see everyone out here this weekend, man.
You got Mike Shank right there. Meyer Shank Racing is always really good with us, man. He's a good conversation. We're at Rick's Boatyard. Brent Halverson rejoins in a second. Deep Eddy Vodka has our deck tour stop number 1 going right now. Tom Blomquist, by the way, of Meyer Shank Racing, is going to join us a little bit after 5. He lives in Monaco, so you can imagine we'll talk about that. Meantime, our friend Jake Query at the Speedway Kroger with Mission Foods and McLaren. Hello, Jake.
John, hello. Crowd starting to accumulate here because from 5 until 6 o'clock, Pata Award, Teo Porcher, Alexander Rossi, the winner of the 100th Indy 500, by the way, and Kellum Ilott will all be joining for an autograph session here beginning at 5 o'clock. But more importantly, we have Mission Foods, as you talked about. We have all kinds of race car-shaped tortilla chips to give away, John. We have electrolyte samples to give away, and a pair of Indy 500 tickets to give away. We have 2 pairs, as a matter of fact, courtesy of the fans. So you want to come and sign up for that. Then your chance to meet all of those McLaren drivers, get your picture taken with the McLaren 750, with the Johnny Rutherford paint scheme. A lot of cool stuff happening here on Crawfordsville Road at the Speedway Kroger. And, John, they just let me know that I'm allowed to bring not 5 but 6 bags of Mission tortilla chips for you.
Love it. You just made Blake's graduation weekend, and thank you for that. Hey, by the way, do any of the drivers or anybody on the team actually drive McLarens?
That is an excellent question. I would think that contractually would have to be part of the deal, wouldn't it? Isn't that what you'd say? Like, listen, I'm going to leave the track, get my McLaren and drive home, right?
Aren't those things like $150,000 a piece?
I think that might get you the door.
That's another thing.
I'm telling you,
see,
this
Blake's a
McLaren
big
750
McLaren
this
fan,
year is
so
awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this. People are taking their picture with it. I mean, an awesome, awesome car. And, of course, you're talking about a team that has a real chance to take the 108th running of the Indy 500. I mean, they're going to be plenty fast, those Aero McLaren machines. So your chance to potentially get the autograph of an Indy 500 winner, or in the case of Rossi, a 2-time winner here at the Kroger and Speedway.
And I know it's probably kind of difficult for you to hear, but I did want to ask you this. Will McLaren ever be an engine manufacturer in IndyCar?
That is an excellent question. I would imagine that with Zach Brown having connections deep within the series, and as well with just the fact that they are so now entrenched in the IndyCar series, that would be explored, because you're talking about one of the most historic teams and historic engines. It would be very cool. Obviously right now running the Chevrolets, and they're plenty fast, but in the ever-evolving engine manufacturing storylines of IndyCar, I would think McLaren would be one that the series would be they'd be obviously smart to have interest in, because they are historic and they're obviously cool and fast.
That is Jake Query out there. Hey, by the way, too, if you want to run down and check out the selection that Hibbett Sports has in shoes, since you're at the Speedway Kroger, go ahead and carve out a little bit of time. You can do that before you bail, okay?
I'll head down there. I'll bring you back shoes and chips.
I love it, buddy. Thank you very much. We got a couple more times with you out
All right, John,
in Speedway,
we'll talk
correct? You got it. It's Jake Query right there, Query and Company. He is out with McLaren, and their drivers are at the Kroger Speedway. Know that place well. You know, it's interesting. My grandparents in 1985 moved from my hometown of Owensburg, Indiana, in Greene County to Speedway. And for all those years until my grandfather's death in 93 and my grandmother's death in 2002, lived on 15th Street. 15th Street, I mean, literally right over there by the Speedway. I think it's elementary over there. But lived over there for all those years, and I spent every year before the 500. You know, that's where me and my friends would all stay there and get set. It really is an awesome experience. And one, my son Blake is going to take part in with he and his graduating friends coming up on Sunday as well. So it is really cool. But I know Speedway. Once upon a time, James, I had a job at the old Union Jack Pub in Speedway. I made pizzas, and I think only twice I ever dropped. Twice I dropped one on the floor face down. And then I put some cheese on it, put it back in the oven, made sure everything looked good, right? One time I think that happened, which is no longer with us, the Speedway Union Jack, which was awesome back then. But, yeah, we'll get back to Jake and Kroger Speedway coming up. Or I should say the Speedway Kroger coming up in just a second. All right, we're going to get rejoined by Brent Halverson in a second. We're live at Rick's Boatyard. Want to see you out here. Busy 5 o'clock hour coming at you as well. What a great meal before Game 2 of the Pacers and the Celtics right here at Rick's Boatyard. Deep Eddy Vodka brings us to you, the AAA Membership Lounge, via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The night before the Indy 500, the celebration of May
with JMV.
Give me my theme music.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, JMV, I think you need to have Mike Shank on more often. I love that conversation. This is from James. Not James, our producer, but a different James. I completely agree. He was really good. 3 drivers, one of which Tom Blomquist will talk to coming up after 5. But Felix Rosenquist and Elio Castroneves, who was on the show earlier this week. Podcast 1075thefan.com. We're at Rick's Boathouse, our first of 6 deck tour stops with Deep Eddy Vodka. Brett Halverson rejoins right now. We've got Oysters on the way.
Oysters on the half shell on the way, John.
The manliness is going to return.
You mentioned trying to get yourself sparked a little bit, so
I may not be able to drive on the way home.
We got you. Well, you know what? Hey, that's what
I can turn the wheel only halfway.
Well,
you think people understand what I'm talking about?
Be a fun ride home. I think they do. I think they do. Everybody knows what Oysters bring. So
what's causing this? But anyway.
It's not going to be because of you've been drinking too much, because you've been very responsible, and that's what we do. Responsible drinking.
The responsibility is right here.
So there's some great Deep Eddy Vodka cocktails to be had, some oysters to be had. Great food, great staff. Not a better place to be. Rick's Boatyard right here. Come on out and join us. We're here for another hour plus. So.
Another hour,
that's
too.
Right.
I often think, I know a lot of people come out here, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you go, this is the best time of year to certainly come out here. Any time of year is great. Absolutely. But this is such a great time of year to come out here.
You can't beat it. It's 80 degrees. I mean, you know, this is what like San Diego people live in every day, right?
I get to watch Jeremiah eat pizza over there.
Yeah,
too.
Look at that. I will say this: he has probably one of the coolest shirts that I want that shirt.
Yeah, that's the shop in Broad Ripple, Market Square Arena.
Was it? Was it really?
By the way,
wow.
I'm glad you brought that up. And I don't know where my friend Brian Kelly is, but that's BK and Alex. The shop, the JMV Sucks T-shirts are on sale 1 day and 1 day only.
Wow.
That's tomorrow on Carb Day.
Uh-oh.
While they last, the JMV Sucks T-shirts are on sale at the trailer at the shop coming up tomorrow.
That's outstanding.
Yes.
1 day and 1 day only.
1 day only.
Well, I'll tell you what, you better get it one day because they'll be sold out. Well, they'll be sold out.
6.
Well, the 6 people will be there in line ready to go.
Well, we're just going to make 6 because, anyway. Because we know the last time we did this, we saw 15 of them at Goodwill 2 days later. So, there they are. Thank you very much. But, no, seriously, tomorrow, the shop out at Carb Day. And I want to see you guys rocking those. If you go buy them, I want to see them in Pagoda Plaza.
So you're going to be there all day tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Are you doing like the full round-the-clock deal?
I am not going to sleep I'm going to go to sleep tonight, wake up at 5:30, and I'm not going to sleep again until Monday afternoon.
That's impressive, John.
Yes.
Wow.
What is that, like Van Helsing? Is that me? Is that Dracula? Who's Dracula? Is it Van Helsing? I just never sleep. Is that real? I'm trying not to nerd out too much, right? You pointed at that guy. Is he a nerd?
Huh?
Yeah, that's me. All right, coming back
right after this. Absolutely. We're here for an hour. Come out and join us. Got some great cocktails to be had.
You got it. Quick break. We'll return. Tom Blomquist is going to join us. We just talked to his boss, Michael Shank of Meyer Shank Racing. Tom Blomquist lives in Monaco, which seems really awesome to me. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. And then Evan Sidery talks Game 2, Pacers Easter Conference Finals tonight. And we'll see if they can even up that best of 7 at a game apiece. We'll talk to Evan coming up after 5 as well. Got stuff to give away. Jake Query rejoins from the Kroger and Speedway with Mission Foods and McLaren as well. Our 5 o'clock hour is going to be spectacular. Don't go anywhere. The stream, the app, HD Radio, the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
I'm David Peterson, CEO of Ermco, one of the largest and fastest.
Lead of Cinderella on tour in August, I believe, with our friend Christian at Brown County Music Center.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Christian, send me a text today.
I love
awesome.
Christian.
We should go down and do something there.
We should.
Oh.
We should open up
Cinderella.
for Faster Pussycat, who's opening up for Tom Kiefer and Cinderella.
Look at that. Pussycat.
Faster Pussycat. No, number 9. And you can hear Tom Kiefer do Shake Me All Night. Coming up, I believe that's in August at Brown County Music Center. Tickets are available right now. Man, Christian's a great dude,
He's
isn't
an
he?
awesome guy.
I will say this, too. I know we're giving away tickets for Tom Kiefer and Cinderella right now, but I want to go see Bachman Turner Overdrive, I think, is in June down there. That is a 70s band.
The lineup is unreal, what Christian and the team is bringing. Rick Springfield's tomorrow night.
Is it really tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night. He sent me a text today. It's at Brown County Music Center tomorrow night.
Man, Springfield's just relentless on tour.
Yeah.
That guy's been here like 1,900 times. Yeah. Springfield tomorrow night?
Brown County Music Center.
That's like a 13-song catalog of well-known hits.
Oh, absolutely. And in Brown County, Indiana, and again, I love what's going on down there. Love what's happening.
Springfield gets loose in Nashville.
I bet he does, too.
I bet some Brown County ladies are preparing for the best.
Sending some
Did you ever see him in Californication? You ever watch Californication?
You know, I've not, man. I've had a lot of people tell me about that show. I've not.
He was completely nuts, but I think that's how he is in real life. Yeah. So I think it was like art imitating life right there. All right, Deep Eddy Vodka. We're at Rick's Boatyard today.
Rick's Boatyard. This kicks off our little series. We're doing a little deck series, so we'll be at a couple different decks coming out throughout the greater Indianapolis area. We'll kind of announce our next stop next Friday. Will be another deck series show. Next Thursday, however, before that, we will be doing a Evan Williams Tavern Tour show, John. That's going to be at Lockmiller's Pub, downtown Indianapolis. So next Thursday, come see us at Lockmiller's downtown. Danny Scott, one of the greatest guys of all time, will be down there. A lot of good history in that pub right there.
By the way, our next guest could probably set us up with a great deck tour stop with Deep Eddy in Monaco. Because evidently, who's joining us now, Tom Blomquist of Meyer Shank Racing, and we just talked to his boss, Mike Shank, a moment ago. Tom's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotlines. You call home Monaco, Tom? Is that accurate?
Well, it used to be accurate. Hello, everyone. It used to be accurate. I am currently now a resident down in Miami. So I hate to say it, I did not make Indiana my home. I decided to move down south, so I'm in Miami now. So no longer in Monaco. Yeah, I'm no longer living the high life down there with the glitz and glamour. I'm really roughing it up in Miami.
I'm disappointed, Tom. Can you move back? Because I wanted to talk to somebody that presently resides in Monaco. What the hell happened?
Yeah, sorry, mate. I, like the rest of you guys, I got a job in America and I have to pay taxes. So no point living in Monaco anymore.
Well, I mean, how tax-wise, how does Florida affect compared to Monaco? What's the effect tax-wise?
Well, I went from zero to basically, I guess, the same as everyone else. So zero is quite nice.
Okay, Monaco, how many multimillionaires are in Monaco? It's some absurd number, is it not, of multimillionaires there, Tom?
I came across a fact the other day, and I think it's like 1 in 3 or 1 in 2, or like there's like a multi-millionaire or something like that. It's some ridiculous stat. Yeah, it's
wow.
It really you definitely feel very inadequate in that city. So
do you? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Do you make fun of Felix because he lives in Carmel?
I do. Especially us, like I've got a few buddies, local to the, I'd say more downtown or in the suburbs, and I mean they're always joking that they need a passport to go up to Carmel. So they're allowed, are they allowed through the border? Yeah, he's fully embraced it. He's got his townhouse there. He's got the big old SUV. Like he's embraced the American life. He's living in American dream.
That's awesome. Tom Blomquist joins us at Shank Racing on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I want to ask you one more thing about Monaco before we get on to what your Sunday is going to entail in a second. But will you at all, and listen, you're going to have 1,000 things going on in preparation on Sunday, regardless of the weather or whatever, but will you at all pay attention to what's going on in Monaco with the Grand Prix?
I mean, I've grown up my whole life with this being like the best Sunday of the year, because it normally was, obviously the Formula One would be during the day, and Indy 500 growing up being in Europe would be in the evening. So it was a pretty awesome day, right? Growing up as a kid, having those two races. So honestly, probably not. But like you said, the weather's looking a bit dodgy. I hope it stays away. So if that is the case, then, I might have a bit more free time. So, yes, I will be tuning in.
Now, let's make a quick comparison. You probably heard me when we brought you on. We're at Rick's Boatyard on Eagle Creek. And are you at IMS right now?
I'm at IMS. I'm currently in my bus.
You are probably 5 miles away from where we are right now. And we're on glorious Eagle Creek. I'm curious. I wonder, have you been out here before, and how would Eagle Creek compare to Monaco? Are you pretty close with the Mediterranean, Eagle Creek? Pretty close, right?
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty close. I'm sure there's a few super yachts down there. Just some beautiful women jumping off the back of these glorious super yachts. Does that sound about right? Eagle Creek down there?
Well, I'm looking right now. No, I don't see that. Are they clothed when they jump off of yachts there, or do they?
Just.
Oh man, don't tell me that. Good Lord, you gotta move.
The sun's shining now, but it's a little bit overcast. Similar temperature, I would say. Maybe a little bit cooler here, and the water is like crystal blue. It's beautiful.
I want to go, man. It's been my dream. I want to go to the Mediterranean. I've always thought about Monaco, and obviously off of Greece, Santorini is another place on the Mediterranean, and Sardinia, which is off of Italy. Those are three places that and I don't know how much time I have left here. Maybe an hour, couple of days, maybe a week or such. Hour. With the time I have left, at some point I got to get it out there.
You got to. I mean, honestly, it's a beautiful part of the world. When I was living there, you kind of almost pinch yourself, right? But there is more to life than glitz and glamour and beautiful sunny places. But it's a fantastic. You got to tick it off, right? It really is how you'd expect it to be.
Yeah, that's Tom Blomquist again. Joining us from Shank Racing, a little bit of something of about how you feel you and your teammates are right now. I talked to your boss just a moment ago. He likes the chances, likes what you guys have been doing so far. If there's something that you really are going to focus in on coming up on Sunday, at the top of that list, what would that be, Tom?
Yeah, I think, for me, it's my first one. Honestly, this is a wild stat. Well, it's not even a stat. It's a fact. It's the first ever Indy 500 I've ever been to. So I just thought I'd knock it all out at once and race it instead, right? Instead of spectating, sort of just tick all the boxes and just jump in and race. I'm so excited. I'm very fortunate to have a great team around me. Absolute legendary teammates and the one and only Elio Castroneves, who's won the thing 4 times. He's been giving me great advice and being able to lean on him has been really helpful. And not only him, also Felix, who's been super competitive here the last few years. And I know the team really well from years gone by in the sports car program with them. So I really feel at home in the environment. And I've got all the tools I need to kind of do the best job possible. But it is so unique. This is my first ever oval race, and it happens to be the biggest one of the year. Thankfully, we've had some laps, practicing in the weeks, the last few days, and last week mainly. But I still feel somewhat underprepared. There's going to be situations that I haven't experienced yet come race day, and I got to learn on the fly to a degree. But for me, I just want to stay out of trouble, complete the thing. That's the ultimate goal. But I'm also super, super uber competitive, and I wanna get the best result possible, and I'm motivated to do so. I'm super competitive, and I think for me, I know if come Sunday evening, I'll be happy if I've achieved what I feel I'm capable of doing. So I haven't set any unrealistic expectations or targets, but I know deep down that I have high. Yeah, in a way, I have high expectations of myself, so I just want to, make myself proud in a way. Like, this race is forever going to be on my CV, right? So that's something special in itself.
Tom Blomquist joins us of Shank Racing. This is the first time you've ever raced on an oval?
It is the first time I've ever raced on an oval, yep.
Well, holy crap.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
I'm sorry. I don't know how else to react to that.
No, that's how I'm reacting.
I'm thinking about having confidence, and Tom, I know you have confidence in every aspect that you do.
Yeah.
But this seems to me like this is going to take a completely different level of confidence going into something that you've never seen, and then you're jumping into something that is at the top of the list in this case out at IMS.
Oh, totally. It's pretty wild when you think of it that way, right? But like I said before, I feel as prepared as I kind of can be. I've got one more practice tomorrow to try and get a feel on things and figure it all out for a final time. Try and keep building up that confidence, because it is really a confidence game. It's a different style of racing. It's you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, as so many people have said to me, and I think that phrase couldn't be more correct. So we got one more stab at it tomorrow. A couple hours of practice. Go through the final sort of thing. A final checklist really before race day.
Tom Blomquist of Shank Racing joins us. I'll tell you what, you're a hell of an interesting individual right there. I got to get you on again because we got to go more in depth. I am fascinated about what you're taking on Sunday. Do you know how often it is that somebody races in the Indy 500 that's never raced on an oval before? I'm assuming it's happened before. I just don't know. Do you know?
No, I don't. There's probably another rookie who's in that same boat with me, but it's still a pretty crazy stat, I guess. I'm somewhat.
You've never raced in a circle of anything. You've never raced in a circle, anything, nothing.
No, I made a track in my garden with a little moped once, and I went in a circle there, but that's probably the closest.
Man, I'm sorry, I'm fascinated with that, but in an awesome way. And that's gutsy right there. That is, I love that though. Well done, man.
I haven't quite figured it out yet.
Tom Blomquist is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I'll tell you what. You go out there and have you one hell of a practice tomorrow at Carb Day. I'm going to be in Pagoda Plaza doing this show from 3 until 6. You come out, and I'll have a couple of shots waiting on you and me, and we'll take some shots together. How about that?
Oh, sounds good. Maybe we'll save it for race day, so I have a bit more confidence. Liquid confidence.
We'll get you loose. Yes, no doubt about that. But no, seriously. Get on your moped, ride it out to Pagoda Plaza with me tomorrow. It'll be easy to see. People will be going crazy. We'll be having a good time once you're done. And I'll put you on the show. We'll talk a little bit more about this and maybe have a couple of shots. And you sound loose to me the way that it is, but we'll get you even more loose.
I like the sound of it.
Hey, Tom, It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
I do want to do this again. And please, if you have a moment, drive out there and join us tomorrow. I think your story is incredibly fascinating to me, man, and all the best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
It's Tom Blomquist of Shank Racing. My man has never raced on an oval. I'll have to ask Jake this. We'll get to Jake in a second at Kroger out in Speedway. This seems highly unusual to me. The first time you've ever raced is going to be on an oval at IMS on Sunday, and then 108th Indy 500.
Not a better place to start, I guess, right? But, yeah, you kind of want to ease into that a little bit.
You've never raced in a circle in your life before? Nope.
Hey,
on a moped is what he said.
Good thing is, John, is you just have to remember to just go left. Just go left.
Man. Hey, Evan Sidery, jump on here again. A Forbes Sports and more national NBA writers on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group hotline. All right, with all the disappointment we saw in game number 1 and the way the Pacers gave that away, what do you think is going to be the response from the Pacers tonight that usually have a great response after a disappointment in general? What do we see?
Yeah, you just got to hope they follow the same script, really, because you put together a fantastic game, again, shooting above 60%, 6-7 guys in double figures. And then somehow, some way, they don't win that game. And I think that was the perfect game to steal game 1. And as we know, the last 60 seconds there, they couldn't pull it off. But you look at tonight, and I'm just overall, John, I'm kind of worried that tonight's going to be the night that the Celtics kind of get rid of their game 2 woes. And I feel like that kind of demoralizing loss here, I'm really worried about potential blowout here. But in order for that not to happen, I think you get to see Tyrese Halliburton have a big game, Siakam have a big game. And also, I think T.J. McConnell's got to control the pace of that game. He was fantastic in game 1. I think he's got to have an even better game, too.
So Evan Sidery, again, a Forbes National NBA writer. Game 2, Eastern Conference Finals, 8 o'clock tip time, 7:30 coverage begins. Mark Boyle, Eddie Gill, and I think Jeremiah Johnson's got that coming up later on tonight once again as well. I agree with you on what I believe is going to be forthcoming, a big Tyrese Halliburton game. But would you indulge me for a moment? Because I thought Boston played really well in game number 1. There was no hangover. There was no 6 games without playing effect whatsoever. I thought they played really well. How much better do you think they can play than what they played in a game in which the Pacers basically gave them at the end? That's so good of a question that Evan. Go ahead, Evan. Hold on. Reset, because we didn't get the first 5 seconds of what you said. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying dictating the pace a little bit is going to be very important. And we saw the Pacers in game 1. Game. But now we know Boston for sure they can play the same game. And that's what my big worry is here, John, is that Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, I don't really see.
Yeah, hey, I tell you what, James, go ahead and bring him down. I don't think that's going to work right now. His phone is kind of foobar. And I get what he's saying. I'm going to have a response to that. Tell Evan thank you, because we got to run anyway in a second, but I don't think that phone is going to work, and we'll definitely get him back on. Am I the only one? Can somebody help me out here at 239-1070 if you want a phone right now? I look at Boston playing really well, and people seem like they have this much higher gear. Now, if they slow things down, maybe that's something I'm not thinking about right now. But I thought Boston played offensively incredibly well. How much more, I guess if you factor in Porzingis when he's playing, certainly more. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe they will get their doors blown off tonight. I thought that the Pacers were even and certainly better because they should have won. At the same time, I thought Boston played incredibly well, especially offensively on Tuesday night at Game 1. Thank you, Evan. I know that's your phone, man. We'll get you back on relatively soon. All right. Jake Query of Query & Company is at the Speedway Kroger with Mission Foods. Hey, so, Jake, I just talked to Tom Blomquist, and it's the first time he's ever raced in his life on an oval on Sunday. That absolutely floors me. And then somebody had told me Marcus Armstrong is the same. Is that common, that the first time anybody ever races on an oval is in the Indy 500? All right, that would be a hell of a question if Jake were there right now.
John, I'll answer that. I think it's pretty odd, honestly.
Me too.
I think
Somebody
you'd be doing that beforehand, you know, like you get a couple little runs in before you come to the Mac Daddy of them all, right? But,
hey, is anybody's damn phone going to work here? I'm going to have to yell at him. What the hell? Can't get Sidery's phone to work. Can't get Jake's phone to work. Is there any phones working around here?
Hey, you know what? Let's put the phones away. We've got great people out here. We're at Rick's Boatyard having a blast right here today on the inaugural Deep Eddy Deck Series, coming to you live from right here at Rick's, John. This is outstanding.
We got more time, you and I, coming up on the other side. Hey, James, I'm going to go ahead and hit a break here since there's no Jake. I will save that for Jake before the end of the show. And again, he's at the Speedway Kroger with Team McLaren and Mission Foods, and he'll talk with us coming up a bit. All right, other side, me and you.
Absolutely.
We don't have to jack with phones because it's me and you right here on the
just wrap as it
microphone.
is. There you go.
We're with Deep Eddy Vodka, our first of 6 deck tour stops at Rick's Boatyard. Oysters are on the way, so Johnny's going to be feeling really good coming up later on tonight. Carb Day experience tomorrow. We'll see if we can get Tom Blomquist out there tomorrow, too, because he said he would take some shots with us, and that's great. That and more coming up for you live from Rick's Boatyard. And we're out on Eagle Creek with Deep Eddy Vodka at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
JMV here with Brian Kahn from Floors to Your Home. Fans, if you're shopping for flooring of any kind, you need to check these guys out. You're going to have the most incredible, totally hassle-free shopping experience ever.
JMV, we really appreciate you saying that. That's our goal every day, to offer our customers a quick, easy, and hassle-free experience at all of our Floors to Your Home locations.
Fans, it works like this. You see the product you like. It's going to be cheaper than anywhere else, that's for sure. Then you can immediately take it home with you or have it installed.
That's right. No hassle, no special order. Just see it, buy it, and take it home or have it installed.
Like 3 rooms of hardwood, laminate, or waterproof flooring starting at just $349, and they have everything in stock. I'm doing my whole house, and believe me, this is the best shopping experience you'll ever have.
3 convenient locations: Avon, Noblesville, and Brookville Road.
Who gives the quickest, easiest, and most hassle-free buying experience?
Floors to Your Home. That's who.
Are you a bowling fanatic dreaming of rolling like the pros? Your chance is here. The Bowl with the Pros event hits Royal Pin Woodland on June 11th. Join PWBA professionals for an unforgettable time playing alongside the biggest stars in women's bowling. Upgrade your experience by purchasing a meet and greet package to meet the pros one-on-one. Secure your spot now at royalpin.com.
Ride with JMV.
Son, you got a panty on your head. You drive fast, eh?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, Hagen, sit tight right here. Welcome back. I want everybody to get to the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. You guys ever watch a 54-year-old dude eat oysters? Because, by God, we're about ready to do it right now. D. Woods, you better get a shot of this. What's it called when you just kind of suck them down like this?
Called like a
the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Rick's Boatyard, the
shooter.
Oysters on the half around. Is it a shooter?
It's a shooter.
See, I don't even need any of that. I'm just going to suck this son of a gun down like
You do
crazy
you.
right here. You guys
do you.
ready?
Let's
You ready?
do it.
Here we go. That's oysters on the half right there.
That is outstanding.
That's outstanding. See, I don't need cocktail sauce. I don't need bacon bits or cheese or nothing. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to be on a rampage here at about midnight.
Should
tonight.
I move over here on the other side of the table?
You may want to. We may have to move everybody back because I may end up jousting everybody out here just a little bit if we're not careful. Yes. This is outstanding. Look at DBO. DBO is a legend. DBO, who, when we used to have the baggery at the other station, he is legendary right there. All right. Brent Halverson rejoins again. Rick's Boatyard. We're here for Deep Eddy Vodka, and we're having oysters on the half.
I mean, does it get much better, John?
I'm going to do another one here.
Well, you should.
Yes.
You should. You did that
Oysters
first
on the
one
half.
so well.
Well, tell everybody about what they have here besides when you're going to watch me, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, down this oyster. Go ahead.
Well, aside from the new digs that they've created inside, beautiful remodel done. This deck is one of the best you'll see in the entire state of Indiana. Their cocktails are, they have several bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. Set up, ready to go, serving some great Deep Eddy and Heaven Hill cocktails out there. But their food, John, their food is outstanding. And even better is the staff. The staff, their bartenders, their servers, they've been here a long time. My man's been here 13 years over there.
Yep.
He told me it's called the Beer Garden out there out in the back, too.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
He's been here 13 years. But, that's how it's been. Scotty Atkinson, he's been here probably about the same time, I think, probably, too. 25? Has it been 25? Holy cow. When you see that, you know that you got a good thing going, right? You got the same people here. And again, their food is outstanding. Cocktails don't get much better than they have, and the setting is what it's all about. And John, you being here elevates it to a whole new level.
I love it. I love oysters. I love scallops. I love shellfish, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're a shrimp guy then, too.
I love shrimp.
Okay, all right.
I love crab.
Lobster.
I love lobster.
All
They
right.
got great lobster here.
You ever had monkfish?
I don't recall. I don't think so.
You know, monkfish is called the cheap man's lobster.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I
it's
had no
really good.
idea.
It's really good. Yeah, just a
What is
little
it,
FYI.
prong? That looks like a shrimp. Is it called prong?
Prawn?
Prawn?
Prawns?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just making stuff up.
You are. Yeah.
I'm just making up new seafood.
Crawdad? Are you a crawdad guy?
I used to catch them in the creek behind my house.
Well, sure.
Or when it
sure.
rained
It's a
heavily,
cheap
and they'd
man's
come up
shrimp,
out of the
too,
ground,
so.
and I'd grab them behind their little head right there and go, yeah.
Do you pop it off?
Chase around people all the time. Yeah. I will eat crawfish, though. Would you eat crawfish?
I would, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's more Louisiana type
Yeah, exactly.
style.
What you do is you get the meat off the tail and then suck the head.
You got to suck the head off.
Yeah, exactly. So Brent Halverson right there. Deep Eddy Vodka brings us to you from Rick's Boatyard. It's been a busy show. To make it even more busy, joining us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, Chris Hagen of Fox 59 is lurking. Hello, Chris.
John, in the more than 2 decades I've known you, you've put me on hold or made me wait for a variety of good reasons.
God, stop pissing and moaning about this stuff, man.
But none better than you eating oysters and discussing the finer points of crawdads. So it's a new high.
Gets better every day, doesn't it, Mr. Hagen?
I've eaten 3 oysters since they've been sent out here right now. Are you an oyster guy, Hagen?
Absolutely not. I eat
Why
shrimp.
not?
I'll eat shrimp. I'll eat lobster. I'll eat the surf and turf. I'm jealous that I'm not there with you guys, but yeah, the great food there. But you can have my oysters.
What's the problem with oysters? You know that makes you more manly, right? You realize that.
I don't need them damn oysters, John.
Yeah, you do. You're older than I do. I know damn straight you need it.
Hey, last night in the hotel, as we're capping another 14-hour workday here in Boston, we were able to watch Roadhouse, the original. I thought of you.
Yeah.
And when you're that age, when it came out, we didn't realize how bad acting that was. And last night I like the nostalgia of watching it, but I was laughing at how bad the acting was. God rest his soul, Mr. Patrick Swayze. That was so bad.
I am ready to go with my fourth Oyster right here. So I'm going to be like Wade Garrett before the end of the night, Hagen. That's going to be me.
You're going to have a pet. Keep it on a leash. Well, we're here. I'm at the I've been at TD Garden here for the last couple hours. I'll still be here live until 7 on Fox 59 and CBS 4, getting ready. And wanted to check in and say that I don't know how Pacer fans are feeling. How are you feeling about this game, too? Does the heartbreaking loss kind of embolden the Pacers to realize they can come take this? Or do you feel like, man, they let one get away and now here comes the sweep?
Chris, I may be wrong about this, proven wrong tonight, but I think they're every bit as good, especially offensively, as the Celtics, where they are right now. The way they're shooting the ball, the way they're playing, I think they're every bit as good right now. Now, maybe they come out, don't shoot it well, whatever. But let's just face it, game one, it's not like Boston won that. It was given to them. They didn't win that, it was given to them. I think the Pacers, to me, are playing every bit as good as the Celtics. And I would say that if Porzingis' ass was in there.
I said that to Tyrese after the game. I said, are you more encouraged about how close this game was and realized that it was kind of your own doing that cost you a loss, or are you more discouraged? And I said, because really it seems like they didn't win the game, you guys lost it. And he was very quick to not give out bulletin board material. He said, well, they did win the game, and we did lose the game. Let's make that clear. And he said that he's encouraged, that the things they made mistakes on, they can clean up. And he dropped a couple of curse words on our microphone yesterday discussing how he
I know. I saw that.
How he felt about what went down. And, I mean, you're an all-star, you're an all-NBA player. You can't have those bonehead turnovers and shot selection you had late. And I think he knows that. So I talked about this with both him and Rick Carlisle about how do you limit these spurts, because this building, it gets loud, and they said, Rick said that's what timeouts for, but you have to kind of manage it as best you can, and that you guys are breaking up. Am I still on the air? Am I talking to myself?
You're right here. I was just eating an oyster. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The main thing is Tyrese said they're gonna go on some runs because they shoot so many threes and make them a 6-0 run, 8-0 run. And the main thing is to get the ball out of the net and go the other way. You have to hurry. Maybe you catch them celebrating a three or whatever. You got to go. You have to score. The only way you can stop a streak, forget timeouts, is you got to score the basketball, and that's what they got to be inclined to do. And they're not. They expect some spurts. They expect the crowd to get into it, like we saw 12-0 to start the game last time. I'm also interested tonight to see what Miles Turner did. I think he single-handedly kept them in the game in the first half the other night, but didn't do as much in the second half. See what he brings to the table, and just
he didn't get the ball. Nobody gave him the ball in the second half.
Didn't give him the ball. Take care of the basketball. 22 turnovers. They gave up some runs, and they had some poor shot selection, I thought, down the stretch and in overtime. So I'm with you. I think they're not. We know they're not scared of them. We know they can play with them, and now I think the Celtics know that too now. So I know the ticket prices. I was talking to a guy at the secondhand market. It's gone up considerably for Game 2 than it was at Game 1, because I think a lot of the fans were just like, okay, let's go ahead. I'm not really worried about this series. I'll go to the finals. But I think they know, the fan base and, of course, the team knows this is going to be a battle, and it's not going to be a cakewalk. And it starts tonight with the Pacers trying to even this thing up at one apiece.
Chris Brent Holverson here. How are you, my friend?
I always think you're me when I hear you on the radio. Everybody thinks you sound away.
I still can't see it. I don't hear it, but it's an honor to be put in the same classification as yourself. So that's being said, I'm happy, right? Hey, I got a question for you.
Real honor, Brent. A tremendous honor.
That is an honor. That's absolutely right. Question for you. Being a gentleman that likes to kind of follow some of the Vegas lines and such, one thing I've been looking at, and I stared at this really hard Game 1 too, Chris. That total, you can look at these teams, right? You have the number 1 high-scoring team in the NBA in the Pacers, number 2 in Boston Celtics. And I looked at that line on Game 1 and thought, why is this only 220, And then I hit each team total, and I swept the board. Do you think that changes tonight? But watching Game 1, will they clamp down? Will they start to bring things back? Because the total only went up to 224. And the line itself went down a little bit. It's now, I think it's hovering around 9, but 224. And look what they put up. Grant, there was an overtime, but that was just well outside of what was already there in place. So How do you see tonight's pace of the game going?
Well, it's interesting because they were the number 1 and number 2 scoring teams throughout the regular season, and the Pacers are still the number 1 scoring team in the postseason. But the interesting stat is that the Celtics are allowing less than 100 points a game in the postseason. I think it's like 96, 97. So I think that's the anticipation. They think if Boston plays the kind of defense it's been playing in the postseason, that'll lend itself toward the under. And I really thought I thought the number would go down to about 6 or 7 for this game. Maybe not that low, but certainly not still up around 9. I haven't looked at it today, but I know yesterday it was at 9, coming off the heels of an overtime game when that was a 10-point spread, and I thought that, quite frankly, was going to be easy money. But, the total, I think the over is still the way to go. And then, that was just gravy when you get an overtime game like that. I'd be interested to see, but, Boston had a more of a layover than the Pacers did. The Pacers, this will be their 4th game in 7 days in a 3rd different city. So it's been a grind for them. I don't know if maybe Boston kind of is one of those teams that says, okay, we had a scare, now let's go out here and put the hammer down. But I would still like the over, and I would still like the Pacers plus the points.
So Chris Hagen at Fox 59. He's live in Boston TD Garden later on tonight. That tip time's at 8, 7:30. Coverage begins here with Mark Boyle, Eddie Gill, and Jeremiah Johnson, I believe, is doing the Pat Boylan role tonight on the Pacers Radio Network in preparation for game number 2. So how do you think this is going to go? What's your feel, Chris?
Well, one little tidbit before I answer that is I see Benedict Mattern out here shooting around, getting, what would this team look like if he were, healthy and going and playing right now? That's one of the things you'll always wonder. And who would that take minutes from if he was out there going? I think the first quarter is going to be huge. I think if the Pacers find themselves, and we've seen this all across the playoffs. We've seen teams win by 20 one game and lose by 20 the next game. If this game is like 34-14 after one quarter, I think that's a wrap, and it's going to be 2-0 heading back to Indy. If this game is a 5-point game or less, I think that's going to embolden the Pacers, and I think they'll settle in and we'll have a game for the whole thing. But the first quarter is going to be huge. People say, how do the Pacers bounce back from that heartbreaking loss? Well, how does the number 1 seed, how do the Celtics bounce back from realizing, in their hearts they know they should have lost that game. So how do they respond to that, knowing that they were outplayed, especially, giving up double-digit leads on numerous occasions? So that's the two things. What's the mindset of both these teams? One who snuck a victory out when they should have lost, the other team who gave one away.
Chris Hagen at Fox 59 later on tonight. You can see his recap on that. And you're doing race stuff this weekend, right?
Are they still going to have that? I thought it was all about. Yeah, I'll be doing it. And I've heard. I hear the weather nerds in my ear as I get ready to go live on both our stations, and it's they're saying we might not have a race on Sunday. I don't know if that's changed, but you would like to see in my 25 years in Indy, every Indy 500 has concluded on the day it was supposed to run. Now, some of them have been shortened, some have had huge rain delays in the middle, but every day, every Sunday night on race day, I've gone to bed knowing who won that year's Indy 500, and I hope that's the case this year as well.
Hagen, man, thanks for the call in. And if you want to come out to Carb Day tomorrow, I'll be getting loose.
Yeah, give me one of those T-shirts. I saw the JMV Sucks T-shirts. I'm supposed to land back in town at 1, so I should be easily there by 3 o'clock to get into our usual shenanigans. And Brent, always good to talk to you as well, my friend.
Pleasure, buddy. Thank you.
Chris Hagen at Fox 59, live from the TD Garden, or at least on his way for Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Quick break. We'll come back in a second, Brent. Final time. We'll get Tristan back here. Jake Query is live at the Speedway Kroger with Mission Foods and Team McLaren right now. Hello, Jake.
John, I got to tell you, it's been a lot of fun out here at the Crawfordsville Road Speedway Kroger. Macho Mike is here, right? Of course, Macho.
Yes.
Remember, Tristan,
yes,
God bless you.
There we go. There's Macho Mike. Now, everybody is happy because the Aero McLaren drivers were here. All 4 of the IndyCar drivers. Callum Ilott was here. Alexander Rossi was here. Teo Porcher was here. And as well, Pata Award. And, of course, you mentioned Mission Foods. Want to thank them, Hydrolit, for making everybody have enjoyable snacks, making sure they're loaded up for race day. Several people wanted to know where Brett Halverson was. I said, well, he's with JMV. They were happy with that. But the show cars are here for McLaren. They're going to be here until 6, so still about 15 minutes to come out. Grab a hero car left behind, signed by those drivers, and the line already is extended past that 6 o'clock deadline for that. But A lot of fun today. Again, Mission Foods, thanks so much for having us out. Errol McLaren, thanks so much for making those drivers accessible. And we still have, if you're in the area, tickets to give away for the 108th running of the Indy 500. 2 pair that we will be drawing for here in just about 15 or 20 minutes, John. So a lot of fun today.
So Jake Query and Company is going to be out at noon tomorrow for Carb Day as well. Buddy, I'll see you out there. We'll get you set during your show and set for mine and have a blast. Hey, while I was talking to Hagen and you, I've downed 6 oysters out here at Rick's Boatyard. You impressed?
You know what? You might be going home and firing up Phoebe Cates on fast times with that, John. Yes, I'm impressed.
Hey, I'm going to try not to poke anybody's eye out on my way out. So, yes.
Enjoy.
All right, buddy.
I like
Appreciate you. See you, man. Jake Query again, Speedway Kroger with Mission Foods, having a good time with Team McLaren out there today. That is always, I think that's at least the past 3-4 years or so, that has been a staple for the Speedway Kroger out there. Good for them. Hey, quick one. We'll come back for a final time. Brent Halverson rejoins. Again, 8 o'clock is the tip. 7:30, your coverage begins. Eastern Conference Finals, game number 2. Pacers down a game, best of 7. Again, tip time, 8 o'clock tonight from TD Garden in Boston. And this is our first of 6 deck tour parties going on with Deep Eddy Vodka. Brent rejoins, final time with us. Coming up next, if you're on hold at 239-1070, I'll get to you as well. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
It's a first day.
Cafe Boatyard. Does they still call it Cafe Boatyard? It is Boatyard. Did I just mess that up?
Nope, you got it correct.
That is spot on.
If I call it Rick's Boatyard, is that...
You people know what you're talking about. So anytime you say anything with Rick and Boatyard or boat related, most people in Indianapolis will know exactly where you're talking about.
Right here. How long has this place been open, Tristan?
Since 1994. So this is actually the 30th year. Yeah,
Wow.
30 years this year.
You get a lot of Colts people out here, too, because the Colts complex is just like 2 miles away.
Tons of them. And a little secret, sometimes we even get some of the players in here eating.
Yeah, I'd
a
imagine,
lot of
too.
them love the place.
Well, and I know the owner used to come out here all the time as well. So
absolutely.
But, no, it's a great place. I had 6 oysters while talking to Chris Hagen. I don't think anybody's ever had 6 oysters on the air while doing an interview like I just did. That was impressive.
That's the most excited I've seen you talk to Chris Hagen before.
I'm telling you.
Was it the 6 oysters?
Obviously, the food is great here, but I'm such a fan of seafood. And that's hard to get great oysters, great shellfish here in Indiana to where it comes from, man.
It is. And
how do you guys do it?
You know, we get all of our seafood fresh every single day. Our oysters actually come right around that Chesapeake Bay area. So
do they really?
Yeah, that northern Atlantic,
Yep.
just right off the shore of Jersey. That's actually where we get our scallops, too. I know how much you said you love the scallops. So same
Gonna
place
go after
there.
that in a little bit here, man.
Absolutely. So, yeah, everything we catch, though, it's all going to be wild caught. We don't like to, we like to stay that route for where it makes sense. Everything here is just really authentic. We love to hit that seafood. It makes sense with our view and our ambiance. You know what we're talking about when you say seafood in Rick's Boatyard.
You got shooters coming out to us. What's that about?
I do, yeah. I've got you an oyster shooter on the way right now, so I see you got 6 already. We got a 7th one coming. It's going to be a little bit of cocktail sauce, a little bit of spiced rum, some oyster crackers, and then that oyster right on top, and you just got to take it down like you would the other ones. That should be coming out here soon. I'm excited for you to try it.
I'm very excited, too. Brett's going to hang around with me for
Absolutely.
a minute before you head to Brown County, aren't you?
That's absolutely right, John.
Yeah.
So, the good thing is, though, and again, we know the great setting that's out here, the great atmosphere that they've built, the staff, right? Scotty Atkinson, I've known Scotty for many, many years. He's been here 25 years. And that's just an amazing time to be at a place. So when you've got great staff like that, and you've got Tristan here 8 years, and Misty, and just the whole crew, my man here 13 years, right? So when you've got staff like that, you've got a great thing going. And again, it's an honor to be out here. Thank you guys for having us, Tristan.
Absolutely. It's an honor to have
man.
you guys. Like I said, we love having everybody here. We're like the Indianapolis melting pot. Everybody's welcome, and we want everybody on our patio.
Well, we talked about it earlier. We'll be back next time. We're going to go down what I've been told is now the beer garden over there, that little boaters area.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're going to get on a pontoon boat, John. We're going to show parked over there. We might even take a little cruise out, right? We'll have some boats come in. Has to happen. We'll make that the next stop.
You guys will have to bring some Deep Eddy slam dunks with you on the way just to make some fun.
We will absolutely do that.
Thank you, my brother.
No
Appreciate
problem.
you for having
Appreciate
us.
it. Thank you.
Have a great
Ask
time.
for Tristan here when you come to Rick's Boatyard, and he'll take care of you along with the great staff here as well. Just an outstanding time. All right, Brent, you got to tell us what's next here too, don't you?
What's next? All right, so we talked about next Thursday, a week from today, John. We are going to be at Lockmiller's Pub, Mr. Danny Scott and friends, downtown Indianapolis. We have our Evan Williams Tavern Tour, so third year of Tavern Tour. The next day, we're moving into that Friday, so a week from tomorrow, we will be at Wolfie's at Geist on their deck. So that's a little bit more in my neck of the woods, John. Once you, we'll look forward to seeing you there. There's going to be a surprise few people out there, too.
I
so.
love it. Hey, man.
Wolfie's Geist next Friday.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Pleasure, my man.
Brent Halverson.
Go Pacers.
Heaven Hill Distillery, Deep Eddy Vodka. You got to thank everybody here, Tristan and the gang, for coming to. Yeah, Bobby Marks, Chris Hagen, Evan Sidery, Tom Blomquist, Mike Shank a little bit earlier, too. Hell, I can't even remember who else has been on this show, but it's been really great. Hey, by the way, Nick Swartzen tickets, Egyptian Room, Old National Center. James, get number 9 at 239-1070 right now. You can have tickets on us. Game 2, Pacers, 8 o'clock tip, 7:30 coverage begins. Live from Carb Day, Pagoda Plaza tomorrow. We're going to be ready to party on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Have a great night.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing